Y'all smell that? It's smelling a little beefy. It's beefy time, y'all. Let's get it. Man, I'm excited about this one. Episode 15, the big 1-5. The pretty dope milestone. We haven't missed a card yet, y'all. Consistency is key, as they say. Let me get Harrison on here.
Yo, what up? I like how we're both in the NFL spirit. It's
Yes, sir.
that first
Yes,
NFL
sir.
Sunday. We didn't plan that at all, y'all. That's dope.
Nah, didn't
we're
even
just some
talk
real
about it.
sports fans, for
Yes,
real.
sir. Yes,
Hell
sir.
yeah, bro, man. This shit feel like Christmas morning to me. I mean,
For real, a huge breakdown. Loud shout outs on social media this morning. Shout out Jay and Rico. Love
shout
y'all.
out Jay and Rico, for real.
And then NFL football's back, man. OU smashed yesterday. Like, this was a phenomenal weekend.
Good weekend for real, for real. And we need the distractions, bro. Like, so I'm sure you've been seeing like on social media and shit, like the orange skies out here in Cali and shit.
Yes, bro.
Like, man, like that shit is like really been getting to me, dog. Like that shit
Yeah.
is like fucking with my head, man. Like I feel like I'm like in Alaska or some shit. Like I haven't seen the sun in like
When
a
you
week.
when you put up that story with like the sun, like your camera straight at the sun, and you were like, "What's this Star Wars ass sun doing?" I fucking hate this. I was like legit shook by that, bro, because I was like, that really looks like the Tatooine sun,
It does.
and that's like our real ass sun you're having to deal with right now.
Yeah, man, it fucking just feels like apocalyptic. Like I fucking been like trying to convince myself this ain't the end of the world, and then you fucking look outside and see that, dog. It don't do you any favors, homie. Uh,
Nah,
but yeah, man, great fucking card last night, and I called it from our Beefy Boys Twitter. I don't know if you saw the tweet I put out.
yeah,
How like every time they say a card
it's gonna be
is
weak.
weak, it
It
comes
balls
with the
out.
yep. I was at shout out Roman. I was talking to Roman before the card, and he was saying like, I don't know about this card, whatever. And I was like, watch, bro. I was like, watch. Every time I feel that way about a card, it ends up being heat.
What up, Tez? But yeah, I mean, I agree
My
with that, man.
nigga.
And honestly, like, I think whenever you don't have those like crazy expectations, like, I'll be honest, going into next week's card, Woodley Covington, I expect that to be a outright war. So if it's not, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Whereas with this, I
You know
expected
why I'm
nothing
bracing myself for disappointment on that one?
because Covington is probably going to win, and you hate that.
Well, no, just because, man, Woodley done let me down in the excitement department so many times. It's like the boy who
Yeah,
cried wolf. Like I'll be
as
real,
much.
like I'm not. I mean, I'm hyped for it because it's a big card, but at the same time, man, I done fell for this rope a dope before the Woodley getting hyped up for a Woodley fight.
Well, and what sucks about Woodley too is that like he's kind of at the end of his rope, and like Covington probably wins this fight, and I hate Colby Covington. I hate him. I hate
Yeah,
him.
yeah, me
But
too.
but you know what I do love about Colby is that like that's all an act. Like he doesn't really believe any of that bullshit he does. It's just to get his name out there, which works super fucking well. It's just like so cheesy and shitty.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, like part of me wants to respect like the business mind of it because like
Right.
we
He
talk
has
about
dollars
that
in his pocket.
we talk about it on the show all the time, like these fighters taking their narrative into their hands and just like squeezing the juice for all it's worth. But it's like yo, that's like the route you consciously chose. Like I maybe even respect it if it was real. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah,
he was
if
just
it was
one of those
real, it'd be
motherfuckers,
better.
that's what I'm saying. And on top of that, it's just like I don't know. Like I got shout out to Rodney. I got this from Rodney, but he put me onto this saying, "Fake the funk," and like I just don't like when people fake the funk, man. And like I feel like so it's like you faking the funk on something I don't even like. It's like I don't even like when people fake the funk on some shit I do like,
Right.
much less like I don't know. Like I said,
It's like it's like a
fuck
double
that guy.
negative.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pulling for Woodley, but like I said, I've seen this movie before.
Well,
Definitely
and
not gonna hold my breath.
Covington calls him Tyquill Woodley because he's so boring to fight. So it's like in as much as I hate Covington, he comes with fire roasts like
Fire
that. Like
bars.
like
He has
like
bars.
Rafael Dos Nachos instead of Dos Anjos. That shit was great. That
Oh, it's
shit was
great.
great.
It's great. It really is for sure.
But
For
it's
sure.
like he's embraced the heel role, and the only reason I like that is because it's what John Jones should have done like 6 years ago. You know what I mean? Should have just played the bad guy and been the bad guy. Like now, John Jones is the bad guy, doesn't give a shit, and it's
Yeah.
great. But if
Yeah.
you just do that from the start, it's easier.
Man, I fucking rolled up a Dutch, and like I feel like a fucking member of the Wu-Tang Clan rode this motherfucker. Like something about the Dutches just looks so old school and just weird. Like I don't know.
Bro, before we get into this breakdown, I gotta honestly rip on Q real fast. This fat Super Q next to my house, bro, like 18,000 pumps. Like this motherfucker would fit in Los Angeles and would cost $1 million a month in retail or real estate. I asked for Swishers, right? Original, diamond, silver, even fucking green sweet. Okay,
Yeah,
I went to
something
that level.
unflavored. Something unflavored.
They got nothing. You know what they got? Grape.
Oh no, the Cardinals sin.
Bro, I got a grape swisher I'm about to blow right now. It's unbelievable.
take
Unbelievable.
take it back to like sophomore year of high school. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, but hell yeah. So if you're watching along with us, go ahead and spark something or not. But yeah, man, it was a great
or
card.
crack one, brewed
Or
with the
crack
fighting
one.
spirit.
Yep, I kept it with the our brothers to the south type of theme.
In a time of Corona.
Atomic Corona, man. But yeah, this is episode 15 of the Beefy Boys breakdown. Dope ass milestone. I'm proud of that. We got some
Me
big
too.
things in the works, y'all.
Yes,
get
sir.
ready for
Yes,
that.
sir.
We got some
My
big
episode,
things in the works.
come 20, it's gonna look nice.
Definitely. And this was for UFC Vegas 10. So this is the
Yep.
10th of these weekly fight night cards they've done in Vegas. And man, like at first I was worried about the obvious, like what's the obvious thing when you think of more fights? You think that it's gonna like water down the product or whatever?
Yeah.
And that, like, man, I was like, eventually some of these cards are gonna get whack eventually, but they haven't so far, man. They keep fucking delivering.
Oh, and honestly, man, shout out to the UFC's roster because like the Contender Series, I've started watching that now every Tuesday.
Yeah,
Bro,
I'm gonna get on
that's
it. I'm gonna get
must
on it.
watch.
I've been slacking.
I'm not necessarily saying I want to do a breakdown for it because I don't know a lot about these guys before. But all of these guys, for anyone that's watching at home on our show right now that hasn't seen the Contender Series, imagine this. You're fighting for a contract amongst 5 other people in the same night. There's maybe only 2-3 contracts going to go out. So if everyone wins, it is how impressively did you win, and that determines if you get a contract. So it's like it's incentivizing them to go out and go even harder. It's great to watch.
And quite frankly, like as far as like the breakdown situation, like the people that like end up winning will end up getting broken down anyway because they make it onto the UFC roster. So
absolutely, Billy Quarantillo, if you liked him last night, he is a Contender Series guy. Kama Worthy, Kasanganai, bunch of great fighters coming up are all Contender Series guys.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to say this card felt a little weird with no Felder on the call. I missed that.
Yeah, man.
But I like Bisping. Bisping did a fine job. Not as big of it on Bisping. See, I don't mind Bisping, but
he just needs another fighter to counter and like play with. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
He's not good by himself. Like DC and Felder are great by themselves because they're so intuitive in their breakdown. Bisping is like more of like the fan favorite. You know what I mean? Like he's always playing to the fans at home when he's commentating, which is great. I love that. But like him talking trash to the guy that's not a fighter throughout the entirety of the commentary.
Yeah, he's like kind of punking on.
Yeah, it's like A, hilarious, but like B, like you ain't got to do that, Mike. You ain't got to be like that.
You know what it reminds me of? I was watching college football yesterday, and you know who I hate watching on the broadcast? Hated him as a player too. Brady fucking Quinn. He's like literally like punching this old man in the arm. It's like watching like an 8th grade bully like interact with his classmates. He like is literally like he's like every stereotype of like a meathead football player, like fucking douchebag. It drives me nuts.
He was the guy that was sponsored by like Nutrisystems or some shit the minute he got to the NFL, and it was like hilarious that he was like going through like Shred City commercials and never fucking saw the field successful.
Man.
It's like, great, dude, be shredded. Like, it didn't help you throw a football.
I think it helped him get this goddamn broadcasting job, though. I think he fucking I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree.
Male or female, he may have, did a little something for that job. But, man, I guess let's dive right in. Once you're officially talking about Brady Quinn, I think you're officially off the rails.
Yeah, I agree. UFC Vegas 10, I did put out, or I texted you some picks for this. We might be going live with some beefy bets here coming soon, just for anyone at home
picks.
that's, yeah, those ones. Yeah, so with all these fights, I'll let you guys know which way I leaned with the odds and all that little explanation to go with them. And honestly, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. You'll see it.
Well, and the thing about this card was fucking Vegas was wrong on the majority of them. So, I mean, it's really hard to,
Well,
knock you too much. I mean, there was some of them were small upsets, but a lot of people that when the pluses won.
yeah, but I'll say like Kevin Kroom was 3-day notice, so you couldn't have gotten bets in on that. And what's the other one that was crazy? Fucking where is it, man? Who was the other dog that just won that was just like wild as hell?
Yeah, it was
Eubanks.
Eubanks. Yep, you took it out of my mouth. Yep.
The Eubanks win was just already pretty fucking wild, but the Kevin Kroom thing that's just like that's betting in a nutshell. You know what I mean? Like that shit'll happen in fighting. Because he just we'll get there, but like that's literally that's the prime example of like anything can happen in a fight.
For sure, man. So and I don't know, our numbers might be a little bit off. The numbers I wrote down were from the UFC's website. So I don't know, whatever, but they'll be relatively close. So yeah, we had Sabina Mazo versus Justine Kish, and Mazo was -250, Kish was +210.
Mm-hmm.
So Mazo, decent favorite, like not ridiculous, but definitely, Vegas was leaning heavy Mazo, and they were fighting at flyweight, 125 women's flyweight.
The late money came in on Kish in this one too, which means that like the sharps were kind of leaning toward Kish to get it done, surprisingly, which I was pretty surprised at.
Well, and I'll be real, Kish looked good. I thought Kish
really
looked
good,
good.
Really good. She looked like the Kish that beat Ashley Yoder and a few other really good girls a few years ago, man. Like she had a tough stretch, but honestly, for having 7 inches of less reach, she was closing the gap and getting in really well.
Dude, you took the words right out of my mouth. She had 7-inch reach disadvantage, which is big. That's huge. I mean, that's really hard to overcome.
Massive.
And she pretty much neutralized it. Like I feel like
at that weight.
Yeah, and I feel like it wasn't really a factor in the fight. Like I mean, maybe a little later, but she did a great job of neutralizing it for sure. Who'd you give round 1 to?
So in round 1, I thought it was like definition of a toss-up round, to be quite honest with you. Like I wrote like definition of a toss-up round. I thought that maybe
was that based more off your eye test or off the numbers?
That was on eye test. Was on eye test. Because when I saw the numbers, I was surprised. I was surprised with the numbers, I'll be honest.
Did the numbers lean Kish or did the numbers lean Mazo?
They were almost like identical. That's why I was surprised because I thought Mazo was outstriking the shit out of Kish. And then when I saw that they were damn near even, I was like, whoa, maybe I'm wrong.
That's crazy because my eye test told me Kish. Like I wrote down Kish pretty confidently in round 1. I thought the leg kicks were really impressive and helped neutralize that distance.
Yeah, the leg kicks were massive.
Takedown. So
the takedown was big.
Yeah,
takedown was big.
So I gave round 1 to Kish. But it was a great fight, very competitive. And then round 2, I gave to Kish too. I think that one was more definitive. Yeah, that one was more definitive.
2 I gave to Kish. 2 I gave to Kish for sure.
She had the higher output. She kept with the devastating kicks. She had the takedown attempts, which just was like activity. And then I thought she won the clinch exchanges too.
Oh,
so I thought
as far as activity goes, she was the way more active fighter. Like way more active, which was good and bad, right? Like I thought she was going to gas out, and so I was kind of waiting for that to happen, which I don't think that's what happened in this fight. Like I think she ate the head kick 7 times. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like she got tired and ate it randomly. Like she just kept catching a head kick that finally caught her right.
Yeah, no, that was I don't know if that was just her having faith in her chin or if she like legit wasn't seeing those coming.
Well,
I think didn't respect them, or I like. What do you think happened there?
Because I think she was so like her game plan has to be close distance, blitz in, and attack in like spurts, right?
Yeah.
Or clinch and sit in the clinch.
Yeah.
But if she can't get the clinch, then like Mazo finally figured it out. Like if I just keep my distance, she'll try to circle in after she does like a dash. She'll back up. Mazo was throwing that kick almost every time with the timing and just timed her out. Finally. Yeah. I mean, it took her 12 minutes to get the timing on it, but finally she found it.
And so, what we're getting at, so in round 3, which in my opinion, coming into round 3, Mazo was down 0-2 in my opinion. Mazo
Kish looked more active and was the better looking fighter as far as appearance to judges, which is going to matter obviously if it goes to scorecards. So
Yeah.
I thought up to that point in the third, Kish was actually going to win the third too.
Yeah, and then Mazo lands the head kick that she had landed a few times, but Kish had been like shrugging them off. But I think Bisping even said something like, "You can't just keep eating those."
Yeah.
And then the next one fucking dropped her and knocked her out. And Mazo got out of there with so actually it didn't knock her out. I apologize. It dropped her and then she finished her with the choke, which was
Dropped her
pretty
bad
impressive.
though.
Yeah, like some refs would have potentially called that it drop. Like I mean, a head kick drop is about as gnarly as it gets, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And but then she finished her off with the rear naked choke, just kind of as a formality. But yeah, so Mazo kind of came back out of the jaws of the defeat to grab that one. So great way to start off the card, kind of indicative of how the rest of the night would go. Kind of set the tone. And I wanted to point out that Mazo is also the LFA flyweight champ, which LFA is in a way kind of become the minor league to the UFC.
It is.
I was
they're
even
even the same
on
exact thing.
UFC Fight Pass now. They're teamed up.
Right.
Like I think the logo's like the same font as the UFC now. So it's like
it is.
They're like aligning almost like a G League, which I think is dope. I like that.
It's so smart because LFA operates on the regional scale. Like they do like a Southwestern LFA. They do a Western LFA. So like then they get like regional title holders, right?
Yeah.
And then those regional title holders get pulled up to the UFC to try and compete for the world title. Like I think that just makes sense. And having a feeder organization fighting makes a bunch of sense. Now, that's where I was going to go with the Contender Series is that's going to be the next feeder league. Like that's going to be the minor league of the UFC will be the Contender Series.
Yeah.
Like you'll have Fighting Championship and you'll have Contender Series.
Yeah, or maybe
That's what it's
it'll
gonna
be
be.
like a baseball with like a AAA, AA type of situation.
Right, but it's going to be owned by the same league.
Yeah.
It's just going to be affiliates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. Interesting stuff. I'm for it. I think the more fighters, the more fights, and the more these fighters are tested before they get to the big stage, it just makes for a better viewing experience. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you can't be a big fish without eating the smaller ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I bet the people that took the -250 Mazo, their fucking buttholes are puckering though.
Dude, I mean the pick I gave was Mazo and a slight lean, and I actually loved this fight to go the distance, and it was really close. Like I think it finished at 14 minutes almost.
So I want to kind of discuss that with you a little bit, bro. So was it over 2.5, or was it going the distance, or are those two different bets, or is that one bet with tricky verbiage? Explain that kind of, that diction.
Yeah, so what I had texted Dominic, for anyone that was wondering, is in the parlay, I told him that goes the distance was a good bet for this fight, but also in the previous, just the fight breakdown that I texted to him, I said Mazo with the slight lean and over 2.5 was the smart bet. So in most fights, you can get over the midway point or under the midway point, right? Well, then you can even go a step further if you want to like increase your odds and say you can go under 2.5 minutes in the first round or over or less than 2.5 minutes remaining in the fight, if that makes sense. So you can do over under on that first round or last round. Yeah. So what I was saying was that like the 2.5 was smart because I thought it was going to go to decision. And so like usually Vegas will offer it as 2.5, like 2.5 rounds over under, instead of just goes distance or ends and finish.
And this fight's the exact reason why that verbiage matters for those people. Because
precisely
this fight hit the over 2.5, but didn't go the distance. Like that's that sweet spot that Vegas was probably like hoping for.
That's what they want. Yeah.
That's
where they make money.
So that was interesting because me and Harrison were literally talking if this was over under 2.5. And then this like perfect scenario plays out. So that was definitely interesting to look at.
Yeah. It's a great point too for like betting people that are trying to kind of learn about betting, like entry level betting. It's important to note those small differences and the small odds differences.
That's where they get you. Yeah, that's
right.
You know what I'm saying? The average fighter the average fan would probably, think those two things were one and the same essentially. And 9 times out of 10 they probably are, but but you don't catch you slipping it. But yeah, we'll keep it pushing on next. Really, another great fight. I really like this next fight too.
Bro, I'm such a big Brian Barberena fan. That dude is awesome to watch. He is awesome to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Just the word to describe him is game. Like he's game. Yeah,
game. He is the fucking Terminator out there, dude. Yeah, he just walks straight forward.
He's game. I like him too. Yeah, Brian Barberena versus Anthony Ivy. Fighting at
Anthony Ivy I like
welterweight.
too. Although Anthony Ivy shot 27 takedowns, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just inefficient strategy. If like you kind of got to pivot if it's not working, right?
All right, let's get into it. Like you were saying there at welterweight, I noticed that at one point in the third round, he was 3 for 16 on takedown attempts, and then shot another 5.
I wrote that too. I wrote down 3 to 16. Yeah,
I want to say he finished 4 of 21.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, and the commentators are talking about it, and I mean, most people that know fighting knows. And the people that don't know fighting will probably be surprised by this. One of the biggest uses of your gas tank you could possibly do is shooting for an offensive takedown.
Oh, I can attest to that.
Yeah, Harrison being a wrestler can attest to that. I actually have never tried it, but that's what everybody tells me. And so more so than striking, more so than kicks, more so than any of that, shooting for offensive takedowns, it will use up that gas tank. So that's why I said that was a bad, inefficient strategy, because it's kind of like it's like what the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broke, you probably needs some fixing. You got to pivot, plan B, plan C, adapt, but yeah, so we'll get into it a little more. They're fighting at welterweight 170. Barberena was a minus 270. Anthony Ivy plus 230. So Barberena pretty big favorite. I thought it was a close round one. I gave it to Barberena. I thought he was landing the bigger shots. Like the numbers were pretty close, but like
I thought the damage was obvious.
Obvious, the eye test. That's like some of those fights. The scorecards will trick you, or the box score will trick you.
There were times Barberena would connect with Ivy, and you'd like see Ivy's like eyes be like, "Oh shit!" Like that's the kind of power he's hitting me with.
Yeah, it was that undeniable power. Just that we talked about it before. That bricks in your gloves type of power. It's just different. Like it has nothing to do with muscles or anything really. It's just some guys have it.
And then not to mention that Barberena must have muscles in his fucking chin, because he'll just eat elbows off the break and just literally just look at you and keep stalking forward, and it's like Jesus.
Yeah, man. It's crazy just how some people can just take shots better than others. I mean, it happened. I mean, like I said, I'm not a fighter, but there was guys like that in football. There's guys that are just durable and can take a fucking shot, and there's some guys that are fucking have 10 foil bones. Like
I mean, Ryan. If you look at like Ryan Broyles, no offense, love him. Jason White, like sometimes your knees just aren't gonna be able to hold up. And then other people like literally don't suffer injuries. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which he did suffer injuries, but has played 29 years since those injuries. Shout out to that guy, whoever did that ACL surgery. Jesus Christ, I feel like he needs the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. But we're a little off track, and we'll keep it pushing. It was a close one, too. I mean, this whole fight was a banger. Like, if you liked bangers, this fight was a banger. Close round 2. I gave round 2 to Ivy, though. I thought that kind of the same reason I gave round 1 to Barberena, I gave round 2 to Ivy. At the end of the round, he was landing those super clean shots.
Yeah.
And I thought that kind of stole him the round, because I thought it was a toss-up. And then at the end of the round, Ivy landed a couple crispy ones. And I thought that, like, in a toss-up round, that was enough for me to lean Ivy in 2.
I'll be honest, I probably had a little bit of bias in scoring the second round, because I just love watching Barberena eat shots and walk forward. Like, I don't know, man. It's like it messes my eye test up, to be honest with you. Like, it breaks my eye test, because I see this guy getting hit with shots that I know are good shots, but he doesn't show me that they're good shots, right? Like, he wears them like they're weak. So I'm looking at him like,
It's that classic, because I do this too sometimes, and I kind of have to check myself. It's like, okay, this is my. Am I writing down my score, like if I was the judge, or am I writing down what I think the judge is scoring? It's like two different things.
If I scored as a judge, it's probably Ivy, but it's close round.
Close round, super close round. Super close round, toss up round, essentially. And then like we said, halfway through the third round, Ivy was 3 for 16 on takedowns. So that's just another kind of. It's one of those weird things where I give points to Barberena for that.
But shout out to Ivy's gas tank.
Shout out to Ivy's gas tank, but shout out to Barberena's takedown D.
Yeah, and honestly, at what point do we start rewarding the takedown defense and punishing and punishing the amount of takedowns he's not succeeding on.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's
'Cause
where it's
imagine-
like me, I do punish that a lot, like heavily, but the judges don't seem to give a fuck about that.
Imagine if you threw 200 strikes, but you only landed 30. You know what I mean? Like, that's not
Well,
good.
It's probably a good analogy to use because these fucking judges would probably be like, nice output, really control the tempo.
Right. It's like because he's firing down the middle at no one there. Like, okay.
Yeah, man. So I mean, that's tricky. That gets tricky. But then so round 3, who'd you give round 3 to?
So I gave it to Barberena, but I did write.
Really?
I did write at the very bottom.
Dick riding motherfucker.
I did write at the very bottom. I swear to God, I wrote 15 super hard minutes. Going to be a tough decision for judges. So, like, specifically for judges.
No, not for you though. Not for you.
No. Hey, 30-27, Brian Barberena, baby, keep him on the W train.
That's crazy. I think this is the biggest we've ever been apart on our scoring because I gave round 1 to Barberena and 2 and 3 to Ivy.
You had Ivy winning?
Yeah. Mainly because, and we talked about this before, bro. Round 3, super close, but Barberena ends up on top. I mean, no, Ivy ends up on top. Like, it was so close that to me ending up on top fucking means something.
But, like, how many takedowns did he unsuccessfully go for before he finally got on top? For 4 minutes he tried to get on top and then got on top.
Yeah, but I'm saying, it's not like Brian Barberena was super impressive in those 4 minutes.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. He was mostly just trying to shuck
that's
him
what
off.
I'm saying. Like, in such a close round, he ended up on top. So I was like, fuck it. Like, old school, just eye test. You're on fucking top. I'm giving it to you. I don't know.
So would you call it a robbery or no?
Well, so, yeah, actually. I mean, I don't care enough to say robbery. Like, I wasn't that invested. But, like, and, I mean, it's a little tricky, though, whatever you consider that Barberena was the Vegas favorite. Like I said, tinfoil hat guy. But I don't know, man. No, I won't say robbery because every single round that I gave to Ivy, right next to it, I wrote close in all caps. So you know how
can't be a robbery.
It was a lot of toss-up rounds. It wasn't a robbery. It was a very close, very competitive fight. If I was Ivy, I'd be salty. If I bet Barberena or if my name was Harrison, I'd be very stoked.
Yep, you'd be justifying it in your head.
Yeah. So exactly, bro. But it was a fun fight. Great, entertaining fight. I had a lot of fun watching it. A lot of fun, just covering it and breaking it down. So we'll keep it pushing. Brock Weaver and Jalen Turner.
Dude, poor Brock Weaver, dude. He keeps getting matchups that are just tough matchups for him, stylistically. And honestly...
And he's another Contender Series guy, right? Or is he Ultimate Fighter?
No, he's Ultimate Fighter. He's Ultimate Fighter. He lost to a Contender Series guy his last outing. Which, honestly, like... I hate for Brock Weaver, but at the same time, like, he's that guy that is his role in the UFC, is to go out there and, like, hold a place and, like, be like, hey, this is your spot in this division. Because he has a pretty clearly carved out spot, right?
He reminds me of just like an old style, like he's like a coach that runs the best 46 defense around, but everybody runs the spread now. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a tough son of a bitch. He's kind of a throwback. He's kind of a wild man, but he's
a savage, no doubt.
But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like nowadays the UFC is just so technical and so athletic that it's kind of moved past just having a huge set of balls.
If he fought in 2014, his techniques and like style would be like super applicable. But
that's what I'm saying.
In today's UFC, he's just behind. He can't just be like a brawler. And Jalen Turner, honestly, like came in super late replacement, met him at catchweight.
He looks badass, man.
Dude, Jalen Turner looks good when he fights on a camp. So like, this was fucked up to give Brock Weaver Jalen Turner. Like, Jalen Turner is a kickboxer. Brock Weaver is a wrestler.
He was 6'3". He looked like a goddamn middleweight.
Yeah, and did you see his striking, bro? It's so crisp.
Gorgeous.
It's like, so crisp.
Thing of beauty. Like
there was a shovel hook he threw where like I didn't even see him load the punch. It just met Brock Weaver's chin, and I was like, holy shit, he's fast.
All right, so what were the odds on this one? Because I know Jalen Turner was minus 380, or there wasn't odds on this because it was a late replacement.
No, you're right. Minus 380 and plus 310 as far as if you took him when they were walking into the cage. But it's always hard to take like 2-day replacement fights because you never know.
You never know, and it's also weird to bet on catch weight fights, right? Because it's like
I was going to say, how does that work? Because like
is
Brock
that
Weaver,
165? That's a weird catch weight. I don't think we've seen 165. That seems kind of weird. Like, I guess that was to favor Weaver, probably, right, or to help him out a little bit.
I want to say Weaver. Well, yeah, because he gets the notice 2 days before the fight that he doesn't have to make 155 because they're trying to find a replacement, but they can't find him a 55er. So essentially, then they start looking through other 55s that are out of camp or in camp maybe that could make that weight without having a serious cut problem, all kinds of shit, right? And that's essentially where Jalen Turner was at. So Brock Weaver then, Turner's like, I can make 65. So they tell Brock Weaver, hey, we got a bout for you at 65. Weaver's probably sitting around at like 62 and is like, cool, I'm just done with my weight cut now. I just get to chill.
Yeah.
So
word. Yeah.
It's good and bad. You know what I mean? Like Weaver has to put in that work to get to that point, and he's literally done all of the cut minus like the last 2%. So that sucks. But I mean, he should get a little extra energy from that, I guess.
Yeah, and it was just a bad matchup for him. I mean, as you can imagine by this lead up, it was pretty much all Turner. Turner was just dominating on the feet, and then as you can imagine, when somebody's getting dominated on the feet, Weaver would shoot for a takedown, except for Turner's takedown defense. It was immaculate.
Yeah.
And especially, I think he was like 5 inches taller. I think Weaver was 5'10", Turner was 6'3". So his sprawl was super effective, and just he could spread his legs along the cage to prevent the double leg, and just.
I will say Turner did the thing I hate the most when I see strikers do it. Tried to get that walk-off KO. I fucking hate that. You know why? Because unless the dude is literally asleep, and Mark Hunt started this, and fuck you, Mark Hunt, for starting this. Unless the dude's literally like face down, out, or head bounced off the canvas and back up, don't fucking stop the fight. Let him eat another shot or two. Like, that's the fucking fight game.
All right. So look, I'm gonna get there in just a second. So yeah, round. Okay, yeah, actually, we're pretty much there because round two they come out obviously like all rounds. They start off on their feet, and Turner's piecing them up and then just drops him. He drops him really clean.
Really nice shot. Like definitely dropped him. Hard.
Really clean, dropped him hard. But it's not boxing; it's MMA, right? You have like in boxing, that would have been a walk-off, like KO,
100%, like 1,000%.
10 times out of 10. But it's MMA. And man, so let me ask you this. This is my question for you, because it sounds like you and I think Bisping was kind of in this camp that it was like some kind of show-offy type of stunting type of thing. And from what I gathered, and my gut instinct matched with what he said,
Jalen Turner,
it was like a kind of mercy, like I literally wasn't trying to be an asshole. Because I think Bisping was kind of like, oh, there, you tried to get the walk off. Or I don't know. Like I feel like Bisping was kind of trying to frame it as like a show-offy type of thing. Whenever I think it was actually the opposite. It was kind of a humble type of thing of like, I just like let me win this. He was like literally arguing with Herb Dean, and of course it was Herb Dean. Gotta note that.
Of fucking course.
Because I think there were some reps potentially out there that might have just called it.
Hell yeah.
But
not Tonioni. Mark Smith would have called it.
Turner and Herb Dean were like literally arguing. Herb Dean was like, "No, finish your fight," and Turner was like, "He's out. He's out." Like
I could hear Turner say, "He's out. What do you mean?" And then he went back to fight.
I struggle with this, bro. I really do, because I love MMA and I love savage MMA fights. But I just don't feel like did Weaver really need to be punched more to lose that fight? Like I don't know. But then I guess Turner kind of splits, has a happy compromise and just goes down and gets the kind of
the choke,
rear naked choke to finish it. Very, very similar to what Mazo did.
Extremely similar in look, like the way it looked,
Because the Mazo fight was kind of similar, where you dropped her with the kick, but she still needed to finish it. So maybe next time, not that I'm anybody to be giving out MMA advice, but if I could, Turner essentially should take that approach next time. If he doesn't want to mangle the guy's face, or if he thinks he has the fight won, go get the submission.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But more to the point, when an NBA team is up 25 points and they put the bench in, they don't tell the bench don't shoot the ball. They don't tell the bench don't defend them. Like you're professionals. Like earn your fucking money. Like you go out there and you compete within the confines of the competition. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're on defense
that's a
and you're up,
like metaphor, bro.
but all right, but
I feel like
right,
that's a tough metaphor, though.
All right. How about this? You're up 30, and you're a defensive end or a linebacker in your case. You get a blindside sack. Are you being nice and you're just wrapping him up and taking him down, or are you drilling him?
Well, I'm an asshole, so I'm drilling him. But I'm saying Jalen Turner.
Are you wrong for that?
I mean, Jalen Turner seemed like a legitimately nice dude, though, is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that's where he was coming from.
Yeah,
I guess that's
sure.
my only point.
He was trying to be cool about it.
Yeah, he was trying to be cool about it, right, wrong, or indifferent, and he ended up winning the fight anyway. Kind of no skin off anyone's back. But it was interesting. It was interesting. You don't see that every day. I don't necessarily fault Herb. I don't necessarily fault Jalen. But, dude, moving forward, Jalen's an interesting. I assume he usually fights at welterweight, right? Like
he goes back and forth.
Back and forth.
So he can actually make 55, but welterweight is where he usually fights at comfortably.
He looks, man. He looks nice, man. He looks really nice. I mean, obviously, you want to maybe see his grappling tested a little more, but I mean, he had good takedown defense from what I saw. And he got the submission victory, so obviously he trains grappling. And his striking looked impeccable. And just physically, like I said, he was 6'3", he was jacked. He looked like he probably could walk around at 200 pounds. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He looked like a defensive back. Like he looked.
Well, he's
like
a scary dude for sure.
No, for real. So I mean, like I said, it's hard to tell, but he looks. I feel like I'm gonna, bookmark his little name. I feel like I don't know. I'm gonna be keeping my eye out for Jalen.
Jalen the Tarantula Turner, which also you said he's a beast. And speaking of beasts, the next guy up is also a stud monster.
Yeah,
Alexander Romanov.
Gained me as a fan for sure.
Well, so he's a super late addition to the card. They've tried 4 times to get this man a fight, and every time his opponent falls out or like it's COVID or something like that's happened. Right, like the last time Alexander Romanov fought was last year in February.
Well, it looked like his opponent did drop out, and they just forced him to get in the ring anyway.
Did they pull up a security guard out of the audience? Like, what the fuck was Rocky Martinez doing, dude? He's a heavyweight that looks like he weighs 340 in there. Like, Jesus Christ,
There's 0% chance that guy can run a mile.
Dude, there's also 0% chance a body shot ever hurts him. What the fuck, dude? Like, I don't understand it.
I don't even want to say. I feel like this is like a disgrace.
He's past Beefy. He's not in the Beefy club. He's
like
fucking
literally
fat.
obese.
He's fucking fat, dude.
Like hit up your cardiologist, homie. Like that's
his stomach was hanging down over his shorts, dog. Like in 2 separate sections.
That's where we're at, man. So I don't know. It was a nice introduction to me watching Romanov. This is my first time watching Romanov fight. He looks like a bad motherfucker, just athletically. But I don't know. His level of competition was laughable.
Would you have said that first round was close to like a 10-7? Because I wrote that's as close to a 10-7 as you can get without seeing that score.
Well, I wrote down 10-8 question mark, so I guess you answered that. It's without a doubt a 10-8.
Oh
yeah. With that, it was a dominant round. Listen, I don't know. Probably not 10-7. To me, 10-7.
It's like you somehow barely survived.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, he fucked him up in about.
How about that suplex?
How about the size of the man flying through the air? Like it literally looked so Hollywood. Like the scene on Austin Powers when Fat Bastard has like the wires and he's like flying through the air.
Yes,
that was literally Martinez. Yeah, Romanov suplex this fat motherfucker. And threw it like it was wild.
Threw him over his head.
Nino was like, "Are they allowed to do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It just looks different because.
Do you know what Romanov's last victory was before this fight? Like the way he won.
What is it? Was it
Slam KO?
Slam KO. Yeah, I heard them talking about that. Yep.
Dude, he's a Greco gangster. He's like a Olympian Greco wrestler from Moldova.
Oh wow.
Who's 11-0 now 12-0.
Moldova is. I thought like some shit out of Harry Potter.
It's borders Russia. It's like an old Russian province. It's kind of like by Ukraine and shit.
Man, he's he's badass. He just physically, like I said, I didn't take too much out of this fight, like technically, because of just the level of competition, like we said. But just watching him move around the cage and watching him sling that fat motherfucker like a
Yeah,
rag doll was
his strength is like
impressive.
next
Like that,
level.
it jumped off the screen. It's like watching Patrick Mahomes throw a football. It's like even if he's throwing a football with no defense, you're like, that guy's different than the rest of these guys.
Right.
Like that's what I took out of this, just physically about Romanov, physical freak for sure. Let me see here, and then so somehow Martinez, I guess I'll give him. He has a chin. I guess
Yeah.
yeah, or eight. He has eight chins. But he somehow survived round one, and then was there a name for that choke? Is it a head and arm choke that Romanov couldn't finish it off with?
So yeah, so like you mounted triangle, head and arm, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, yeah, you're just getting their head and arm trapped up here, and you're collapsing your arms around them and just squeezing it until their blood flow gets cut off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a blood choke. He got some nice ground and pound in before. I mean, he pretty much just did literally whatever he wanted. Like
Yeah,
Martinez might as well have been just like literally like a practice like dummy.
like a bag on the floor. Like it looked like King Kong going to work on top with like the double hammer fists and shit. It was unbelievable.
I mean, that was probably, like I said, late substitution. I don't know if anybody was able to bet this one, but the minus 380, that was probably.
I mean, you could have put $14,000 and made back like $4 grand on that. Like, would have been worth it. Would have been worth it.
Seriously, yeah, Romanov. So looking forward to him moving forward. Just like I said, just athletically, I appreciate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna be trouble for guys like Derek Lewis, like the big striking heavyweights. He's going to be a big problem for because he barrels in, and he's strong enough to slam him. Like, he's strong enough to take the fight to the ground.
I was about to say, he just presents a whole new dynamic.
Right. Like the way he fights.
Exactly. When we've been watching a lot of heavyweight fights lately, and none of them just eye test wise looked like Romanov. Like, you get the big power punches, and then you get the kind of lighter on your feet, guys that try to use speed. And then you get the kind of fat guys that just try to use size, but he's like none of that and all of that.
It's so weird, dude. It's so weird because it's like he doesn't utilize his power for striking, but he damn sure can throw anyone anywhere he wants at any time. Like, he's so strong, but you don't see it translate to his striking.
Well, I'd say maybe not on the feet, but the ground and pound looked nasty.
Yeah, the ground and pound looked fucking disgusting, actually. He kept, like, sliding his leg over the arm and trying to throw in a hook on the bottom. It was like, damn, man. If he got a little bit cleaner punching on top in the ground and pound, like, could actually land those shots through the guard like a Stipe or like an Overeem, he's gonna be dangerous as shit. Yeah, like, he's like a new school Brock. He's like a new school Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean?
He's undefeated too, so yeah. Like I said, he looks like, especially in heavyweight, I feel like they're gonna try to, give him a fast little ascension. Heavyweight needs some juice.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we always talk about how like clogged 155 and 135 are. Heavyweight's kind of the opposite of that. I feel like there's plenty of room for ascension in heavyweight. There's a lot of old dudes, a lot of guys surviving on name and reputation. So I'm excited for Romanov moving forward for sure. Moving forward,
next fight was dope.
It was, and I guess I'll spoil alert, which I guess we kind of already have. But first upset of the night, which I guess I kept saying that there was a lot of upsets, but I guess the ones that were upsets just kind of stood out to me because so far it's been chalk.
Well, there were 3 upsets on paper, I guess, right? Or 4. One that we called. I guess there were 5 if you count Azatar, but Azatar is pretty much even odds.
Yeah, pretty much even. Yeah, but yeah, man. But Roosevelt Roberts, who I believe we've done on Beefy Boys before, right?
Yeah, and I hate him.
I think we hated him last time.
He tweets the commentators before his fights, and he's trash talking his opponent to like DC or to last night he was tweeting Bisping before he walks out, and it's like
just clout chasing.
Yeah, it's like, dude, put your fucking phone down, you idiot. You're 10-2 and you just made it here. Like, shut the fuck up and go fight.
Yeah, I feel it. I mean, that's one route to take. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect trying to get your name big, but I don't know, probably not necessarily the best way to go about it. I mean, maybe he's trying to be the villain or whatever, but I'll tell you what, man, didn't do himself any favors last
Nope.
night. So
No,
yeah,
he did not.
Roosevelt Roberts versus Kevin Kroom. Roosevelt Roberts was a minus 440. Biggest favorite to this point in the card.
Mhm.
It was Kevin Kroom's debut. I'm pretty sure they pulled him out of the like streets of Missouri or some
Yeah,
shit.
he's the happy hillbilly or something like that.
Yeah.
The fighting hillbilly or some shit. Like,
Some
he's
shit.
awesome, dude. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Kevin Kroom. It was his debut in the UFC. They're fighting at lightweight 155. I believe Roberts had quite a significant reach advantage, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
he was a little taller.
Yep. Pretty much everything that the announcers were saying, everything, leading up to the fight, it was supposed to be quick work for Roberts. And just like it's over before it started, like Kroom comes out, like instantly drops him. Like I think it was like the first exchange, right? Or
Yeah,
one of the
so
first.
like they touch gloves, they kind of feint. First exchange, Roosevelt
Yeah.
hits him with like a left straight, and Kroom was already countering with the overhand left, lands it flush, drops
Yep.
Roberts, and then immediately felt the neck when he jumped on top and just collapsed on the neck, just guillotined it
His
up.
crank on that because they were so dry.
Dude.
And we've talked
Yeah,
about this
he like
before on
got
the podcast. You could see how dry they were. He was able to crank and like I don't know, he like caught him after he punched him and they were on the ground, but then they stood back up and he just had it so tight. Like
so tight, dude.
Roberts put up a good fight, but it was literally like watching a snake with something. And I know we probably use that analogy more than we should. It's kind of like we say that all the time, but no, this one was the real snake. Like he was fighting and wriggling and raving, and he couldn't fucking get out. It was crazy,
dude. It was tight. Like it was to the point where Kroom got his whole hand over his tricep and was like literally using his own arm as like leverage.
And he like stood him back up. Like that was the crazy part. It was like if a snake had legs.
When he did the John Jones Lyoto Machida crank, I was like,
yeah. No, it was gnarly. Yeah, it was like a modified guillotine, just gnarly.
Standing modified guillotine, like fuck.
But like the standing was part of the crank. It's like
right because think about bending your head forward. Like it's already hard to breathe when you just look straight forward.
He like power cleaned his neck. It was really, really impressive by Kroom because the thing was. If it would have just been the flash knockout, you could easily say fluke city.
Right.
But then he flash knocked down, but then that fucking guillotine was legit. Like as legit as they come. Like took technique, took like hard work, took grip strength, like took just savageness. Like he just put his whole body into it. Like he literally was trying to kill that motherfucker. And like
you can tell he's fought a lot too, man, because the minute that he caught him, he didn't like panic and freak out. He felt the neck, locked up the guillotine, kept it through the stand up, through the redrop, and then stood him back up.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, Kevin Kroom. But then I will say, like, you know how they say like some dude's getting like or like when you're in a sport like a flow state, like when you were playing football, you'd read the offense, read the backfield, you'd already almost know where the play was going, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason I was any good, man. I was a neck up player.
Right. So like, but you're in your flow state, right?
Yeah,
so like you don't even have to think about these things. That's what's gonna happen because you've done it so many times in practice and you've gotten so good at it. I think that's where Kevin Kroom was because if you notice when he went to his coaches after, he's looking at him like, did I just do that? And his coaches are like, what the fuck, Kevin? You did it. And he's like, I did it.
I love that, dude. That was so pure, bro. Like there's a few things in sports that I love watching that'll damn near make me cry. Like the draft nights, NBA and NFL draft night. Watching those kids' lives change, their whole family's life change.
And the stories some of those guys have are just fucking crazy,
and then
dude.
These crazy debut underdog upsets, especially in like a first-round finish. Damn near makes you want to cry, man. Just the pureness. Like everything we get in our society is just so filtered and like just fake or just been edited 9,000 times. It's not raw. It's not pure.
Or it was produced to end
overproduced
up this way.
And just the rawness of that, human nature of that, just, I loved it so much. I loved watching that, dude.
It's honestly one of those things where like that's where sport like kind of transcends sport, right? And
It's
becomes like more,
humanity
yeah, right.
at
Like it's a
its
human thing.
finest. Yeah, man.
Because you're seeing like that's like human accomplishment in effect, right? Like you're seeing a guy put in all this work, all this time for that opportunity, and
Against
he
all
hits it
odds.
on the head. Yeah, and he hits it on the head against the odds.
Yeah, man, I love it, man. And it's like it's playing. Sometimes you have to like wait like 20 years to watch that story unfold, like the story of Nipsey Hussle or something. That was like a
Yeah,
15, 20-year grind. But in UFC, you watch that all take place in this case in like 30 seconds. Like
right. Like that,
fucking,
the moment it all hits. You know what I
it's
mean?
like it's like so climactic. Like you hear the phrase anticlimactic, but that's the definition of climactic, like just peaking. But yeah, man, love watching that for sure. I think I just described somebody shooting a load, but but yeah, man. We got one more fight, and I think we can squeeze in on this IG live, and then we'll get to the main card.
Perfect,
Um,
perfect. It's Julia Avila versus Sijara Eubanks. I actually loved Avila in this fight. She was minus 280 favorite. She's the 14th ranked fighter, so Eubanks is 15. Eubanks has terrible cardio typically. And I don't love Eubanks, man. She was 4-2 when she got to the UFC. She was 5-4 going into this fight, if that tells you anything.
and it was at minus 300 at the start of the fight. So does that mean
Right.
more people put money on her?
Money on
Right?
Avila,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of money was coming on Vila. We shouted out Jay earlier. He had a hot take, right? That
Yeah, oh yeah, she could beat Nunez. I wanted
Yeah,
to comment
right.
on it this morning, but I would just wait for the show.
Yeah, so
Jay,
Jay,
where are we at, man?
nice hot take there, brother.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
she's an OKC fighter, bro. I have to cheer for her. Like, it's not like I'm even out here like happy she lost. Like,
No,
I
no.
fucking hate that she lost,
Yeah, me
but
too. Me too.
she looked whack in doing it. Like, I won't say that it was like a fight where I was like, oh, she was winning and then she got caught. Like,
I'll say Jay's hot take looks whack more than she
yeah,
looks whack.
yeah, that's for sure.
But
Dude,
but
the
no,
10-8
yeah.
second round was tough, man. How do you
Yeah,
score the first?
We got Julia Avila, the Raging Panda, one of my favorite nicknames of all of MMA. She was
a
ranked
good nickname.
14 in the women's bantamweight versus Sihara Eubanks, who was ranked 15 in the women's bantamweight. And
There
yeah,
you go, matchup McGee.
yeah, exactly. I liked it. I liked it. And I thought it was. I liked how the higher ranked fighter was favored. For no reason, bro. Like, I just like that shit. It just makes my mind at
But
ease.
like, how can 14 be that big of a favorite over 15? That doesn't even make sense. And maybe we should have caught that.
Yeah,
Maybe we should have known Vegas was wrong for that.
Vegas, it's like a lot of times it's name recognition. Like that Raging Panda, she coming off a nice, dope, big time victory. Like they knew she was hot. They knew she was fresh on the mind of bettors. Like
it's a good point. And Eubanks has a really bad Q rating. Like she has a negative appeal when her name is brought up. So that's a good point.
So yeah, but I was definitely rooting for Raging Panda. You know what I'm saying? Fighting out of OKC.
Same.
Shout out 405, and I still got love for y'all. Round one actually I gave to Avila.
Me too.
That opening barrage.
Yeah, crazy. And she won that opening barrage like easy.
And I think it was the blessing and the curse, man. I think she
Yep.
shot her load. And I think there was a mental thing happening here. Because if you remember the last fight, she essentially won on one of those barrages.
Yeah, and also her and her coach were on some weird shit too. Did you hear the commentary between her and her coach the whole time?
I didn't. No.
Dude, he kept telling her like it was almost sounded like a disappointed ass dad where he kept telling her like, Julia, this is what we trained for. It's exact you know this. Like that's all I could hear from the corner was him telling her like, hey, this is exactly what we trained for you. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
What? I'll be real. Maybe he was frustrated because Avila didn't look like she was fighting with a shit ton of game plan. Like she looked kind of Street Fightish to me. Like
dude,
she was literally just like
weird.
bum rushing. Like essentially, like I don't want to oversimplify. I know she trains hard. I know she has technical ability, but she was kind of just like Kimbo Slice bum rushing, RIP. But just like you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the most technical approach. And like I said, it's easy to kind of say her coach sounded condescending, but I bet he was pulling his hair out because that didn't look like anything that any coach would train or drill or like probably anything that they worked on in camp for the past 6 weeks. And I don't know. Like I said, it's hard for me because like I'm not trying to shit on her, and I literally am a fan, still am a fan, and was rooting for her hard. But like Yeah, it seems like she kind of threw all game plan out the window and kind of tried to bang it out. And sometimes that works for fighters, but I'll say there's a mental thing that happens. When you shoot your load and you connect on an insane barrage and they just take it and then like they're not that doesn't like there's a mental thing that happens.
You start to kind of idolize them, and like not that sense of the word, but you know what I mean. Like you start to see them as like this inhuman figure where you're like, well, that was my best shot, and they can take it. So what the fuck else can I do to it?
Exactly. It's a crack in your own mental like ego armor, whatever you want to call it, but just that mental edge.
It's like
is no
creating
longer-
invincibility for your opponent, which you could never do.
Yeah, and creating what do they call that? Mortality for yourself. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. It works both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's exactly what happened here. Like, I'm not a psychologist and I'm not a fighter, but like that's my take on what happened here. Like, once Eubanks ate Avila's like gnarly ass barrage in round one and was like, "Oh, I'm fine." I think Avila was like, "Oh shit," and then I think Eubanks was like, "I got this." I think it was more mental than it was physical, honestly.
And Eubanks is absolutely the more decorated and better grappler. So for Eubanks, it was like, well, if I can eat this standing and we can at least get to the clinch, then like let's do it, and I'll just get you down to the ground, which ends up happening in like round two was tough to watch.
So did you was that a 10-8 for you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm an Avila fan, but 100% that's a 10-8.
Round two was 10-8. Eubanks, that ground and pound was so effective.
Dude, and she was just really good at keeping the position. Like she stayed in control, stayed in half guard. She dominated the position.
And like I said, I thought it was a lot of mental. Like I said, she just she knew she wasn't the like lesser person, the lesser you know what I'm saying? Like she was like, I don't know that round one. Even though that round one, that barrage won the fight or won the round for Avila, I think it won the fight for Eubanks. The fact that she survived it and was fine.
How'd you score the third round?
Eubanks, the ground and pound, just Eubanks' ground and pound story. So after round one, I think the Eubanks' ground and pound was just sums it up after round.
That was the whole fight. It was a
takedown
and ground and pound. Like, that was the whole fight. Now let me ask you this: so you scored it 29-27?
I scored it. Yes, I did score it 29.
Right. Okay. So did I, and so did all three of the judges. Like I think this fight was super clear as to each round. Right, like I think the fight entirety as a whole is like Avila might still be the better fighter, which is weird to say, but the way it plays out round by round is like, yeah, it's obviously Eubanks' fight.
Yep, and it did go to decision, unanimous decision, but yeah, so that was another underdog, betting underdog that won, but
and that was a surprising one too. Like I thought that was one where like she was rightfully a plus 240 or plus 260.
Well, like I said, it got even up to Oh yeah, you're right. But yeah, man, that's why we love fighting, and that's why Vegas has all those big fancy casinos.
For real.
But yeah, man, that wraps up the prelims. That was a banging ass prelims, which was nice after last week with no prelims. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up, and we'll be back for the main card. I'll be back in like 5 minutes, bro.
Main card coming in 5.
What up? How's everybody doing? We're gonna get to this main card, man. That banger ass prelims and a banger ass main card. I was really happy with UFC Vegas 10. Everybody, not everybody, but you know, I follow a lot of MMA stuff. A lot of my friends like MMA. They're talking about MMA, and they, you know, everybody was saying this was gonna be, this is a weak card. This is a weak card. And I was like, every time people say a card's weak, it ends up being fire. It never fails. Let's get Harrison on here.
What up? We're back for the main card.
Main card, man. Yeah, this was. I thought the main card and the prelims were both bangers. It wasn't like a one or the other situation like it sometimes is.
No, I thought the main card actually. I don't know. I know you thought I paused there for a second or froze. That was just my brain. What I was gonna say though is that like the main card actually delivered super hard for me, except that Ed Herman shit has me super pissed off still, dude. Like I woke up mad about it from Mike Rodriguez this morning.
All right, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get
That
to
is
that.
some. We'll get to it because it's some bullshit on a professional level. That's some bullshit.
I'll let you take the lead when we get there. But let's go ahead and start off with Billy Quarantillo versus Kyle Nelson.
Billy Q, baby.
Yeah, Billy Q was favored minus 250. Both fighting featherweight at 145.
I was a pretty big lean toward Billy Q in this fight. I liked him to win this fight a lot.
You did. You called that before. That was one of your hits, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So man, yeah, definitely called that one. Fight at featherweight. Let me see. It was pretty much all Billy Q. I mean, for the most part.
I thought so too, man. How'd you score the first?
I give it to Billy Q. He had more total strikes and he had the takedown.
I thought the takedown is what separated it because I thought they were really close up until that takedown, and I was like, okay, all right, Billy Quarantillo, and like his whole game plan is, of course, to get those takedowns and make it a dirty fight. Like that's the way he fights. So, in effect, it was like when he gets takedowns, that means his strategy is taking place or working.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that first round was controversial. I think Quarantillo won it. And then round 2, I gave to him too.
Definitely won the second. Definitely. Nelson was done at the end of the second, dude.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. The end of the rounds. We talk about it all the time on this show, and like the end of rounds is so important. Like whether it should be or shouldn't be, it is. And they're weighted more. And how you finish a round matters a lot. And Billy Q finished that round about as strongly as you can. So
yeah,
I definitely thought
super
that
strong finish.
Definitely thought that took it from him. And then it ended up not even really mattering because in round 3 he got the knockout.
Now this is what I want to make a point about. This is a walk-off KO where it's okay, and he didn't walk off. By the way, just as a note, he actually went to go sock him out in the face again and got tackled by Mark Goddard.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Mark Goddard because Kyle Nelson, I'm pretty sure, has a broken orbital as it's come out.
Yeah, and that's as soon as it happened, like you're like,
you could tell. You could tell.
Because all right, 9 out of 10 knockouts come from getting punched on what they call the button, like kind of the hinge of your jaw is
where it
like
connects,
where people go out, and that's why guys like Israel Adesanya, they aim for that point, and it's like you can get precision knockouts as opposed to power knockouts.
Absolutely.
What you hardly ever see is somebody getting knocked out from a punch to the eye.
Anything in here, it's crazy when you get knocked out by that.
That's rare, and that's exactly what happened, and that's why the way he went down, and like you could just tell this shit was fucked up. Like
yeah, you could tell because he immediately brought his knee and his hand up and was just covering that part of his face. He was like, "Do not hit me here." It was almost like you could feel that he felt something break in his face.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It was like a human animal reaction of like, "Oh, my shit's fucked up."
Like when you're watching Ridiculousness and the skateboarder racks his nuts. It's like you can kind of feel it.
Oh,
it's like that's how my eye felt whenever I watched him get punched in the eye like that. I knew exactly what happened. But so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because average person might be like, oh, get punched in the face, get knocked out, but the face has different points on it, and it's rare. Like most knockouts come from the jaw, like in this region. It's like they call it the button, and so yeah, it's just very, very weird and dangerous to get knocked out from a punch to the eye.
You could tell how messed up he was though, because after Quarantillo was walking out of the octagon, he stopped and went back to Kyle Nelson, who was still sitting on the stool, and so said good fight or whatever. And then Nelson tried to stand up, still shaky legs. It was like this is 4 minutes later, and he's still messed up.
That's bad, man. That was real bad. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna get proper medical attention and all that. But
of course,
That was bad. That was real bad. But yeah, so another favorite wins. Billy Q, won. That was an impressive victory. That was definitely an impressive victory. That
hell yeah, it was.
That division's so loaded. It's hard to say really what's next.
Yeah. 145. We should have said that. Yeah, 145 featherweight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're so loaded that it's really hard to see what's next for him. But if he keeps doing that, it'll take care of itself. That's how I like to think of it in those.
Yeah, and I like Quarantillo because he's super entertaining, super aggressive, and just overall, I think has a good likability about him. You know what I mean? Like he's marketable.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, he has knockout power. Everybody loves that. But yeah, and then moving forward, one of a Beefy Boy favorite, our boy Bobby Green.
I love Bobby Green. Love
Yeah,
him. Also, I
Bobby.
love what he says in his post-fight interviews because it's never about the fight. It's always about
Yeah.
something way more important in the world, which I
Yeah,
respect.
yeah, exactly, man, exactly. Which is, that's the most. That moment's literally put there for you to be self-serving and for you to still turn that around and bring spotlight to things that need to be talked about is pretty powerful, man. Especially when he fights as often as he does. I feel like we just have like a Bobby Green like podcast post fight like that. I'm just tuning into every week. Like,
For real.
yeah, no,
For real, dude.
but
He's
very.
entertaining as fuck when he fights, too.
Super active fighter, super good fighter, and
Yeah,
super
lately he's
entertaining
looked
fighter.
great. You know what, man? I even wrote a note in here, which you might tell me I'm crazy. You can if you want. But he was actually reminding me a lot of Conor McGregor, the way he looked in the fight. In this fight particularly.
We're talking about the
Like
McGregor
his
that fought Khabib, or
No, like the McGregor that fought like Mendez, you know what I mean?
no,
Like
no, I
McGregor
feel
that
you.
yeah, like he was just down to be right in front of him and was like, doesn't matter what you're gonna do, I'm gonna beat you to the spot and
And
I'm just better.
his head
It was
movement
so
was
good.
gorgeous, like boxer good, like really.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I think really what you're really saying by the McGregor compliment is that his boxing looked phenomenal, and I would agree with
Yeah.
that statement.
And he's a
His
wrestling
boxing,
background.
his boxing looked like really fucking good, like
Really
like
good.
like
Really
head
good.
movement boxing, not just. And some people will be like, somebody punches somebody and be like, oh, their boxing looked good. Like, no, that wasn't even really boxing,
What's
but like his boxing looked good. Like
What's crazy too is like he would defensively throw hard shots. Like he would be, moving his head like you're talking about, great head movement, but he would take 2 steps back, but be throwing a 1-2 on his backward steps and be hitting Patrick
and
hard.
I think that's kind of some of the McGregor-esque where you were talking about, right?
Right.
Like yeah, and what I'm talking about on the boxing, because that's a people think of like power punches in boxing as like a big looping stepping forward shot, but I feel like that's more of an MMA thing. If you watch in
Right.
boxing, like knockouts come off of like counter shots, kind of on the back foot or sliding to the side,
Or like
and
really crisp, clean, like sneaky shots.
yeah, and I mean that happens a lot in MMA too. Like I said, it Adesanya and O'Malley and McGregor and guys like that. So,
But all those guys do fight with their hands lower down, so those shots come from weird spots. And like we're saying, like
and
they're
Green
just
was
hard
doing
to
that
see.
too. Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that was another very good. That's a good thing to note. Yeah, his hands were extremely low, but the head movement I'm talking about made that, because obviously it's like goes hand in hand. What's the obvious downside to holding your hands low? Well, your face is unprotected. But if your head movement's on point, that kind of neutralizes that advantage. So he played that. He played that hand about as well as you could play it for
Oh,
sure.
dude, it was beautiful. I love Bobby Green in this
But
fight. And I
yeah,
would like to note as well, this was my bet the house pick of the week, was Bobby Green.
good on you. Good on you. Next week I might have to take you up on it. I don't
Like
got a
what?
house to
Yeah.
bet, but I might bet.
Yeah, right. Like if you had a whole house, this would have been the man to put it on.
But yeah, so Bobby Green was minus 260. And so that means you bet 260 to win 100. And then versus God damn it. At first, I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I first was looking at this card, I was like, did Alan Patrick get into MMA?
Oh,
Like
no. The running
the
back?
former OU running back, because
Yeah.
I mean we've seen football players, before. I was like, but then he's like
Hell
he
yeah.
pronounces it like a French way, like Alan
Uh,
Patrice.
Alan Patrick.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, you're Portuguese, bro. Why would you pronounce it that way? Shouldn't it be Patrick? Like, isn't the R and H? I don't
Yeah,
fuck.
I
Dude,
thought we were gonna see, with some cornrows and a 23 jersey out there.
that would
But
have been tight. I would have
was
immediately been cheering for
I was
him.
a little
Immediately.
disappointed. I'll be real. But yeah, he was plus 220, so he was the underdog. They're fighting at 155. Pretty much all green all night on this one. Take it away.
Dude, like, to be honest, like, first round, I wrote all Bobby Green. It was 10-9 because Patrick, like, actually defended, kept it entertaining. But, like, that's as close, I think, to 10-8 as you get without it being a 10-8, right?
And,
Like,
and Patrick, I think it's important to note that Patrick is a real big jiu-jitsu guy, and like
yes.
not in the sense that all these guys are jiu-jitsu guys. Like no, like he likes to fight off his back in the guard, old school jiu-jitsu fighter and our player, as they like to say. It's one of the most awkward
Player,
phrases.
yeah. I don't fucking
It's
jiu-jitsu
so
player.
awkward,
Like,
jiu-jitsu player.
why can't he be a grappler? Why can't he be a jiu-jitsu grappler? Why is it player?
It's weird. It's weird.
He's one of the best jiu-jitsu players on earth. It's like, what the fuck? You don't play jiu-jitsu. Like,
jiu-jitsu player and Hop-IL is just something those guys die on. The whole like JR situation. But anyway,
dude.
But,
yeah.
But I also say that so Patrice, the reason why round 1 was at 10-9 because he did shoot for some takedowns.
Kept it competitive. Like he kept it like he was aggressively trying to fight back.
Exactly. But Green's takedown defense and grappling defense was really impressive.
Dude, did you hear the stats on his takedown percentage defense for his career? I think is 78%, and Patrick's success rate is 40%. And I was like, well, if you're only successful 4 out of 10 and he defends 8 out of 10, you don't have a shot, Patrick.
That's pretty much how it played out. That's pretty much how it played out. Like
Bobby Green had 5 takedowns on Patrick in this fight. Patrick's only been taken down 3 times before that in the UFC.
Yeah, and it was cool too because you could tell Patrick thought that Green was going to be scared to take him down because of his jiu-jitsu background. And
in the first round, he said, "Fuck, I don't give a fuck."
Yeah, but I was like, Patrick, you can see the credentials. Like when he was on his back, man, he was going for subs like no other. And I mean, Green was doing a phenomenal job of not letting him. But he got close a few times.
There were a couple knee bars, leg locks that Patrick threw up that actually reversed the position, got them back to standing.
Yeah,
so I will say that like his defensive jiu-jitsu was at least working.
Effective.
And there were a couple times where Bobby Green had to completely pull out his arm and be like, "I don't want that arm bar."
No, totally. He got close a few times. He was playing with fire. Bobby Green was playing with fire. Now,
but he's so good at that. He's so good at that.
Yeah, he's a risk taker fighter. He really, whether it's on the feet or on the ground.
Now, let me ask you this: as someone that has like a good amount of tats, is it a weird flex for Bobby Green to tat the top of his head before like his whole back or chest is done out? Like, is that not a weird flex?
That's a weird flex. I do. There's certain people that are like that. Like there's psychos that go hand first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like I know a girl that literally like her like second tattoo is a rose back in the hand. It's like, hey, bad life decisions. You.
Dude, hey, I'm the opposite, bro. My shirt is like I literally have like a short sleeve T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say like your shirt like cuts off like quarter sleeve.
Yeah, I'm fucking a big vagina when it comes to that shit. But Nina's kind of like Nina just like goes straight forearm, bro. Every time we get
really,
Nina's just working on that old forearm. But I mean, she has bigger stones than me, I guess. I don't know.
My dad's wife has crazy tats. Like the insides of her ears are tattooed, and then like it like runs down her shoulders, but like it's not like sleeves. Like it's just I don't know. They're crazy. It's all over.
That should be hurting me, dog. Like everybody tries to like cap and say that shit doesn't hurt. That shit hurts me. Like I'm not even gonna lie, even though I got
dog. I asked her about the ear tattoos, and I was like, "Do those hurt?" And she was like, "Well, it's just like what is the?" She was like, "It's just cartilage, so it actually doesn't hurt that bad." And I was like, I call bullshit, bro. Like I call fucking bullshit. Like that had to feel bad.
Because you ever remember you was a kid and your mom would twist the fuck out your ear if you was being in that. That shit hurts, right? That's cartilage.
It feels so bad.
Oh man, but all right. So back to the fight. I thought it was cool too. Bobby Green showed his versatility because like in the first 2 rounds, it was all Bobby Green's wrestling, and then in round 3, that he was putting on a goddamn clinic with the jab. That jab was gorgeous. He was just hot. Like it was like a completely different fighter. Like he completely
it was crispy too. It was a crispy jab.
He turned to fucking jab flick McGee in the 3rd, and it was effective as fuck. Because I think he knew he had that. I think what it was actually, now that I think about it, that
he just knew he was safe.
He had the fight won, so don't play with fire anymore. Like you know what I'm saying with them submissions.
Right, like you've dominated him 2 rounds, just keep your distance and win it.
But not a lot of fighters can pivot game plans effectively mid-fight. He did a great job and finished out the 3rd round with the jab. This was unanimous decision. There was no controversy. All
30-27, all 3 judges. Definitely. And then his post-fight interview, I would like to note, R.I.P. David Afghani or Arcani, right?
Yeah.
It's Afkari. Naveed Afkari.
Iranian wrestler who got executed for protesting, man. And
Yeah, which, little side note, man, like, just on a real, like, human level, like, it's pretty crazy that he got executed for protesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, they put the death of a security guard on him. Apparently he was tortured into confession, so there's bigger stuff in the world than fighting, and, like, shout out to the UFC for putting that up. And I would
shout
like
out
to,
for Bobby Green
I
for
was going to
bringing
say,
light. Yeah,
ties in because Bobby Green in his post-fight interview, Bisping's trying to ask him his question about the fight, how he feels about it. Bobby Green is literally having nothing to do with interviews about the
Bisping
fight.
honestly came off hella douchey right there. Like he kept
mhm.
trying. Like he just seemed too much of a company man. Like at a certain, like Felder
certain
would
point.
have like got the vibes like quicker.
Yeah,
Because I
I
think
agree. And
eventually,
Rogan would have stopped and had a conversation about it.
yeah, it would have turned into a podcast for sure, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, Bisping came off looking like a company man, chode boy. I thought like,
And also, I think Bobby Green's right to point this out, man. He's like, hey, man, I'm about to go out there and fight, and y'all are putting this dude's face up on the screen, and now I got to think about when I go out there and fight is this man just got put to death for protesting his country. Like, how fucked up is that? Bobby Green was pretty much saying, like, I can't even focus on my fight because y'all want to throw this shit up right before I go out there.
yeah,
And it's like, I do agree with him, like,
granted,
but
he
also,
looked like
why
he
you
fought
watching the broadcast?
and he fought a focused fight.
Yeah, like, I don't think he strayed from his game plan at all. But, yeah, shout out to Bobby Green just for being a real human at all times of his life. Like, he came up out of foster care in New York, definitely had a really tough upbringing. Can't deny that. He's a guy that's never been given anything and has earned everything he's gotten. So I just really appreciate Bobby Green, man. I hope his train keeps moving.
He's on a 3-fight win streak, dog. Like he's not like it's not like it's all fluff and story and narrative. Like he's fucking winning fights
Against good opponents, and he looks really good doing it too. Like his last fight on the breakdown was I'm gonna find it real fast, but
you mean every week?
Yeah, like he looked fucking good in his last fight on the breakdown, man. He was just out there talking shit the whole fight through, which I wanted to note that too. He didn't talk a whole bunch of shit this fight. You know why? Patrick doesn't speak English.
Oh, maybe that.
It was hilarious, dude. I noted that like halfway through. I was like, oh, he's not talking shit because it doesn't matter. He realized like, doesn't matter if I talk shit, he can't hear me. Oh, he beat Lando Venata in his last fight. That's right. And looked really good doing it, and I really like Lando Venata. Like, I have high stock in Venata. Venata went to decision with Tony Ferguson.
He's fucking looked good in this past, like, I don't know. He's on a roll. He's on a roll. He needs to keep it up. He's not that old either. He's like 32, 33, something like that.
They need to give him a top 15, if I'm being honest, man. And at 115 or at 155, like, you're asking for a straight murderer in a top 15 opponent, but he's earned it. Like, he has outright earned that.
Give him the right to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the right way to say it. Like, yeah, that's exactly
right. That's something that kind of ties into a bigger argument, too, since we're getting big picture and we're both high. Like, that's something a lot of black people are just asking for in general. Like, a lot of people don't understand, like, what black people kind of are wanting. The right to fail. And it originally originated with coaching. And the guy that just died, the Georgetown coach, his name is
John.
Legend, though. He coached Allen Iverson. He coached all the great players at Patrick Ewing. All the great players at Georgetown. He talked about how black coaches don't want the opportunity to succeed. They want the opportunity to fail. Like, if you think about it, a lot of white people in positions of power, they fail and they go on and either get another good job or they...
Yeah, that failure doesn't haunt them. It doesn't define them, rather. It does not define them when a white guy fails.
And like a black head coach, you know what I mean? You have one bad season, you're out. Like, the statistics on that are pretty alarming on you know what I mean?
Even in the NBA, which is crazy to me.
Getting rehired after you get, like, black coaches
Mark Jackson.
rehired.
Mark Jackson.
So I don't want to say never. Of course, I don't mean never. Somebody in the comments is like, all right, this is an example. But, like, no, you know what I'm saying? Generally speaking.
On the whole, even when they deserve to get rehired, they're looked over. And I agree with that 100%.
So I wanted to apply that to Bobby Green. Like, let's give Bobby Green an opportunity to fail. Like, even if he does fail, let's give him an opportunity to fail.
Yeah, like give him someone in there. Give him fucking Edson Barboza. You know what I mean? Oh, Barboza did go down to 45, so you can't give him that anymore. But yeah, give him a serious 55er, man. If Venata could fight Ferguson in his first UFC fight and go to decision, and Bobby Green can beat Venata twice in a decision, I think that Bobby Green can be a top 10 55er.
I mean, we'll see. That's what I'm saying. Let's
But let him
yeah,
show us.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let
let
him
him show us.
Yeah, yeah. I'm saying, let it be merit based, but like, you know what I'm saying, give bro an opportunity.
Yeah, but that's what we're arguing is that like his merit, he deserves the opportunity already. That's what I'm
Definitely.
saying is like you should have already been given.
All right, man. And then all right. So I'm gonna
Next
let you
fight,
take. Yeah,
205.
take the floor. Take the floor.
Chris Tognoni, who I love Chris Tognoni, actually. That's like one of my favorite refs, to be honest with you, man. Him and Mark Goddard. But like, all right, so Ed Herman plus 200, Mike Rodriguez minus 240. I had a slightly into Rodriguez in this fight, which I still think I would go with again for sure. Ed Herman's 40. He's quit fighting. He's going up 20 pounds because he's so fucking out of shape. Anyway.
Herman was on the Ultimate Fighter 3 with Michael Bisping, who was calling the fight. I just wanted to throw that little fun fact out there.
Yeah, dude, Ed Herman is so old, dude, that like he looks slow. His body is literally like you can tell like USADA does not let your body stay insane in shape due to PEDs. Like he's old. He's old. He's just outright old. But I said interesting first round. I scored it 10-9 for Rodriguez because he landed the harder shots. How'd you score it?
Yeah, round one to Rodriguez. Those elbows and knees, man. Like that's like an old running backs coach saying that boy's nothing but elbows and knees. But like for real talk,
that is Mike Rodriguez. It's all
elbows and knees, man, and it's effective. And I loved watching it. It was he fights at a slow pace though. It's not like a quick elbows and knees.
That's his nickname. That's his nickname, Mike Slow Rodriguez.
And
that's what he gets his nickname from. It's
like
literally
methodical.
He doesn't go fast.
It's like watching Jokic play basketball. Like you know what I'm saying? It's just that slow pace.
It's like he's always in control of like the chess match. You know what I mean? Like he's seeing it play out. But here's where shit goes completely fucking awry, and I get pissed off. Ed Herman has 40 professional fights, maybe more. He's been in the UFC for fucking 10 years, 12 years. He faked a fucking groin shot and took 4 minutes of recovery time because he's so gassed in round 2. When Mike Rodriguez should have been punching him in the face, finishing him, and Chris Tognoni should have pulled him off and said, that's it, TKO. It's fucking bullshit that Ed Herman, one, would fake the groin shot. Because in his post-fight interview, he says to Felder, I didn't know where I got hit. I just knew it hurt. Excuse me, motherfucker?
All right, hold on. I guess maybe call me devil's advocate or whatever. So, like I'm saying, and this is also what Dana White said. I watched something on Instagram where Dana White was talking about this. Like, is that on the fighter, though? Like, if you get hit and dropped and the ref calls it a nut shot, like, it's not like he screamed out, my dick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know who did scream out nuts was Chris Tognoni. That was hilarious, by the way.
So that's why, like I said, maybe I'm being devil's advocate here. I don't know. Like,
no, I mean,
Dana White's point was interesting too because he was kind of not defending Herman. He said Herman essentially did fake, but regardless, it's on the ref more so than Herman because. But,
it is on the ref. It is on the ref because the ref's got to stop the action.
But you're saying man to man, that's some bitch ass shit, right?
When you're 40 and you fought over 40 professional fights,
and you're losing, like you're getting,
and you know you're getting your ass whooped.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. If this would have happened in a fight he was winning, you kind of couldn't question it as much.
Right. But you're getting your ass whooped, bro.
It looks like some lawyer ball, as I like to say. That was like the definition of lawyer ball.
Like, honestly, I don't. Like, I wrote submission win. Oh, we'll get there. But, yeah, Ed Herman is winning the fight, so I'm so pissed off about this. Because Mike Rodriguez had just gone to decision. He still gets the win, and I'm not, like, I don't have to be upset. But the man literally has to have a loss on his record, has to have a loss in his last fight, and Ed Herman gets to fight a fucking again instead of retiring like he needs to. Because Chris Tognoni decided that a knee to the chest was actually a knee to the nuts? That's crazy,
Any
dude.
love for the Kimura?
No, fuck that Kimura. Fuck that guy. It was good, sure, but I'm sure fucking Mike Rodriguez was just mentally like, I already want, like, this is bullshit, dog. I don't want to be here.
The total strike stats on that fight are insane.
Fucking embarrassing. It's just, that's an embarrassment for the UFC, dude. And I know Dana can't say that, but he's not happy with that, dude.
I mean,
he is not happy with that.
Yeah, Dana's response was interesting.
How much you want to bet Ed Herman gets a murderer for his next fight?
They're
going to fucking give him a murderer. Well, because he's got to win. It's got to be someone better than Rodriguez. He's going to get a fucking murderer. It's going to be bad,
What
dude.
if they give him the Canadian waterfall?
That's okay with me. That's okay with me.
I wouldn't want that for Boza, though. I feel like that would be lame for his
Dude.
career.
I just yeah, that would be lame. Like, who at 205 is going to whoop this man's ass properly? Give him Anthony Smith. Give him Anthony Smith.
Anthony, was that who was doing the post fight last night? Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought
Anthony
he did
Smith.
a good job.
No, he's really good. He's really
I
good.
wasn't expecting that. I was expecting him to be more punchy.
He's super smart, dude. It's weird that he gets his ass whooped like he does by like Teixeira and shit, and has 50 professional fights, but like really well put together.
And he just looks like, I don't know. He looks like a guy that'd tell you a good bass fishing spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know what the fuck is, dude. Anthony Smith is just he's a
good on
journeyman.
him. Good on him for being just like a well-rounded, hard to put in a box individual. I love people like that. But yeah, man. We'll keep it pushing to another one of our least favorite fighters, Roxanne Modafferi.
I hope Ed Herman gets smashed. Now, Roxanne Modafferi, to continue on with what you're saying, my bad. Ed Herman pisses me off so much for that bullshit, man.
No, feel free. You need to go in for a fatality on Ed Herman real quick.
Dude, it's just like, there's just like gotta be some sort of, that's like unspoken rules. It's the unwritten rules of baseball, bro. Like that's literally what this is. Like I feel like this is like an unwritten rule. Like if you don't get hit in the nuts, dude.
Rules. I do too.
Rules. But if they're gonna exist, like I'm gonna get mad when you break them.
So it sounds to me like what you think. Do you think what Ed Herman did was like worse than missing weight?
Yeah, because he lost the fight and then took a 4-minute break in the middle of losing the fight and said, "Okay, I'm good. I feel my liver is good now." What the fuck, bro? That's like tapping.
The amount of time that he took was next level, like trolling.
Dude, this is reminiscent of when Buchecha tapped the guy, and they were like, "No, that was a fake tap," and they made him re-tap him. It's like, what the fuck? How many times you got to win before you win?
You know what though? I guess one upside out of this. Did you see that? Dana White still, I forget what it was, still gave him the win bonus or some shit.
Thank you.
I think he gave both fighters he gave both fighters the win bonus.
Good, dude. Fucking good.
So that he did him solid on that front. And
that makes me a lot less angry.
He also kind of said, like, without really saying that it wasn't going to really like affect his ranking. He said that like essentially kind of like neither fighter lost or some gay shit, but you know what I'm saying? Like he essentially said it wasn't going to like hurt him too bad, and I don't know. He gave him the money, so I guess
they're giving Ed Herman. They're giving Ed Herman a fucking murderer next. I already know it. I can already tell by the way Dana's selling the whole picture. He's like, yeah, they both won tonight. Meanwhile, you see Ed Herman just get put in a fucking axe next week. Like, what?
Yeah, be like, all right, you're fighting in Fight Island in 3 weeks against a murderer.
Yeah. Like, and I'm okay with it. To keep it pushing, like you were saying, man. Next fight.
But technically, another underdog cashing, even though if it was
for sure. This was my dog of the week. on the
No, I'm talking about Herman though. It's plus 200.
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah.
The lawyer ball. Whoever.
I mean, if you bet him, you got it. Yeah, Vegas
exactly.
pays that bet 100% of the time.
Exactly.
So.
Wanted to mention that, but yeah, keep it pushing. Roxanne Modafferi, number 8 flyweight versus Andrea Lee, number 9 flyweight. You know. Ranking man McGee's is real satisfied.
Number 9 was a big favorite. Were you satisfied with that?
I was satisfied. No, because Modafferi, my dislike for her outweighs my like.
Yeah, I hate Modafferi. God damn! And I saw her post-fight interview, and I still hate her.
You know what,
bro? Hate her.
I have a weird reason for hating her.
She's too fucking goofy.
I'm just gonna say it. That's hilarious that you say that. In a way, that's true. She reminds me a lot of my old roommate. She reminds me so much of my old roommate, like the awkwardness, just how she looks, everything about her. And I hate this fucking bitch so much. So I even if Modafferi was like literally like the best female fighter, the most entertaining, I would probably still hate her. But the fact of her fighting style is like slow motion and
Oh.
galloping. I don't like
Yeah,
that
what
either.
is the fucking gallop shit, dude? What kind of
You
footwork
saw
is that, dude?
Yeah, it's like
She,
a lumbering
hops.
shuffle.
She's
It's
like always like moving back. That's like a crab, dude. I don't fucking get it. It's like a crab and a goat. I don't fucking get it.
so man. So yeah, needless to say, not the biggest Modafferi fan. I was,
I fucking
but
hate her, but I knew in this fight, stylistically, she was gonna have a good matchup.
yeah. So needless to say, I was shocked at the heavy. So Andrea Lee was a -310, and
Yeah.
she was a lower ranked fighter. And Modafferi, regardless of our shit talking, is a world class grappler. Like been doing it forever and ever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was really shocked. I honestly thought that was kind of some smart money to take the underdog, the plus 225 on Modafferi. I mean, I didn't like officially say it or anything, but when
These two
I
have
saw
fought
that
before
number,
too.
did Modafferi win?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, that's really strange on the odds. I think yeah, you did get a great number on it if you bet it.
Yeah.
But yeah, women's flyweight 125. Round one, Modafferi, her ground and pound, just her ability to keep old girl down was really impressive.
I literally said I leaned toward Modafferi in the first because she controlled more of the round.
Well, so we talk about it all the time on the podcast about like how valuable is a takedown if you don't do anything with it or if you don't keep them down, if they pop right back up. And Modafferi was the exact opposite of that. She was keeping her down really effectively.
Big control.
And some ground and pound, like I'm not going to say it's like a Brock Lesnar ground and pound, but like, enough for the rep to keep him on the ground and do a little bit.
I was going to say enough to stay working.
Exactly, and just like I said, it's a lot easier said than done keeping people down. And Andrea Lee looked like a really athletic, female fighter, and she was like light on her feet, and so I'm sure she wasn't that easy to keep down. So that's just a testament to Modafferi, like her ability to like put weight down and keep an opponent down. I actually gave round two to Lee.
I did as well.
Significant strikes, and they kept it on the feet more, which I thought in round two and round three. This was really interesting because they were kind of kept it on the feet more.
Yeah, it was weird. Modafferi did good on the feet, too.
She did good on the feet, her weird lumbering style. She did good. She was landing. But I just thought it was so weird after her success in the first round. But what I know, and Bisping really put me on game to this. I'll shout him out. But he was talking about how Modafferi had a few failed takedowns. And we talked about earlier in the podcast how that's the quickest way to empty your gas tank is failed takedowns. And so Bisping was saying how after a couple of failed takedowns, she probably wanted to quit going for the takedown, and which kind of forced her. That's the reason why it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I want to stand and trade. It's like I can't keep going for these takedowns if they're not working. And so essentially the rounds 2 and 3, they stand and traded, which you think would favor, Andrea Lee, and it did in round 2 for sure. Lee took round 2. So, I mean, going into round 3, it was all tied up 1-1 essentially. And then Modafferi that's what was the difference in round 3 was her ability to finally get a takedown, or actually I think it was a couple of takedowns, and then just really ride it out on top in round 3, which she was incapable of doing in round 2. So that quite literally was the story of the fight. When Modafferi was able to get it on the ground and had the gas tank to do so, she was very effective, and that's what won her the fight. But I mean, it's Andrea Lee was winning the striking exchanges, which is about on par for the course of what we would have expected. But like I said, Modafferi, which I think we watched her past 2 fights, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did. We hated her last fight too because she just fucked the shit out of her.
But what I'm saying is, that was the best Modafferi stand-ups looked in the past since I've been watching it. Even though I'd still give the striking advantage to Lee, Modafferi I feel like worked on her stand-up a little bit, and it was landing some punches, and it didn't look horrible. I mean, the footwork looked just lumbering. I think there's nothing. That's just her. Like, I don't think there's really ever going to be anything to like stop that. But
right.
But the hands looked better. I'll say that. But yeah, Modafferi ended up getting the unanimous decision. I think the judges pretty much agreed with both of us. Rounds 1 and 3 for Modafferi, and that was enough to win her the fight. and cash as the underdog. So yeah.
Let me ask you this real fast before we move on to the co-main. One of the big reasons I bet against Andrea Lee is that in her career up to this fight, Modafferi fights out of Syndicate MMA. Andrea Lee, I think, has 5 losses in her career. 3 of those were to Syndicate fighters.
That's some fucking investigative fucking Harrison Ariel Owani over here. Yeah, I like that, dude. I like that deep dive. That's some good shit.
Yeah, but what it made me think was like, do you think certain gyms can fight better against other gyms? Oh shit.
I have no idea.
Hold up. Let me leave and I'll come back.
All right. Oh, there you go. All right, a little technical difficulties. It's all good. Nothing we can't handle.
All right. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
Apple said they don't love us. But back to the point of, I think certain gyms do succeed against other gyms just based on like the styles they train and like the disciplines that they focus in.
I'll say certain gyms are better than other gyms. I don't really think that can be debated. So, I mean, I think in that sense, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a team. I mean, they call it teams for a reason, right? Like certain teams beat other teams. Like
you said earlier in the prelim breakdown, the 46 defense versus like a spread offense, like clearly one of those just stylistically has an advantage.
Or like team elevation and Denver seems that, obviously have the cardio advantage. You have certain people like obviously all the dope wrestlers are out here in San Jose at AKA.
Right, I was gonna say AKA is great grappling.
And fucking DC and everybody. So Cain Velasquez. So I mean, without a doubt, that's fair to say. And this is different teams, different. Yeah, I think like any other sports teams, their styles and things work better than others, and without a doubt, for sure.
So just something to keep an eye on moving forward is certain gym matchups.
Maybe lock in a good number, doing some research.
That's what I mean. Like Jackson Wink does a great job of game planning for their opponents typically. So
good looking out. This next fight was entertaining as well.
Loved this next one.
Otman Azatar versus Kama Worthy, which we have done I think 2 Kama Worthy fights.
Yeah, both of his UFC fights actually. This is only his 3rd UFC fight.
Yeah, so we've seen and he's been impressive his last couple.
Yeah, got the upset win last time out. 155 is the weight they fight at. Herb Dean, the ref here, of course. Of course, had to be Herb Dean. Which I was actually, you know what? I was super, super pumped when I saw him walk out for the co-main because I was like, he can't have the main event and the co-main. Like, can't be out for the main event, which is a good thing because I don't like Herb Dean that much anymore.
Yeah, he's kind of lost some goodwill for sure. But Worthy was the minus 130, Azatar plus 110. So pretty close to a toss-up. But, I mean, I guess minus 130, is the favorite.
Well, what's weird about that, though, is when this opened, Worthy was plus 115. And Azatar was minus 130. So the betting shifted because the public put money on Worthy.
On Worthy, wow.
Yeah.
The public is stupid.
Correct.
I mean, in more ways than one. So I think like going against the public is probably a good idea there too.
On the picks, I did have a lean to Azatar here. It was a fight I would not have wanted to pick just because both guys have crazy knockout power. And you saw that they were both just going to swing for the knockout.
Yeah, that's what it was, too. It was a banger. A banger.
And picking a 50-50 fight is never a good idea. You know what I mean? So just as like a smart bettor, I would have stayed away. But if you had to take it, we're taking Azatar.
Yeah, for sure. I probably would have taken Worthy just because I got name recognition. I'm more familiar with him, but I'm bad at that. It's not a responsible way to bet, so don't listen to me. But yeah, man. I mean, Ottman won in round 1. TKO, just like a barrage of punches. Like we said, they pretty much just said we're gonna sit here and stand and trade in the pocket, and that's exactly what they did. And Ottman came out on top. I mean, I want to say it was like overly technical. It was just
it was kind of like Ozdemir. Like it was just like clinch slugs, and he just hit like a couple bombs over the top of the shoulder.
Yeah,
and just finished him.
Yeah, no, but he looked impressive. Another Moroccan killer. The Morocco's producing some savages.
Yeah, well, there's a kickboxer that some people say is the best kickboxer of all time, Badr Hari, and he's Moroccan. I think Morocco has like some good fighting lineage in it, to be honest.
No, man, they're definitely pumping out killers over there for sure. So once again, though, just the lightweight weight class, 155, so loaded. I mean, like, this is one of those weight classes, even the guys that aren't ranked are killers. So, I mean, good luck. I mean, I'm sure he'll his next fight will be entertaining too, but I
Let
have
me
no
let me
idea.
let me ask you, Bobby Green and Azatar. What do you think?
I don't know. It kind of goes against what we were saying after we broke down the Bobby Green fight about
I
wanting
know,
better for him.
I
Now,
know.
I think it's like, would the UFC do some shit like that? Yeah, of course.
That's where I'm
What?
leaning. Is like, do you think the UFC looks at it like that?
They both fight tonight. Bobby Green likes staying active. He
And
got
like,
a fast knockout. Neither one of them took
right,
damage.
Bobby Green didn't take hardly any damage, even though he fought 15. Like, he took no damage. Looked really good.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, so is that what I want to see happen? No. Is that what I could see them doing? Yeah, but we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. I mean, I think it'd be a fun fight. I mean, granted, do I want to? I don't want to see it happen when I'm saying like Bobby Green. Like I want to see him build up and whatever.
me too.
But do I think it would be a fun fight to watch? Hell yeah. So yeah, it probably will get made.
What do you? Okay, let me ask you this real fast before we get off this fight. I would like to note that when they stop the fight, right? Herb Dean stops the fight. Great stoppage, perfectly timed. No problem with stoppage at all.
No,
No
no,
problem.
no.
Like, it was perfect.
Oh yeah, Kama
Worthy
was
was
yeah.
protesting it. They both look up and watch the replay together. This is hilarious to me. Worthy and Azatar standing literally like shoulder to shoulder, watching the replay. They watch it. They turn, look at each other, dap each other up, walk away. It was like Worthy saw himself go out and was like, "Oh shit, yep,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
fight."
No, that was just the competitor in him. I mean, like in a
Right.
way you want that in your fighter, right? Like if you're coaching him, you like that dog, like like go out on your shield mentality. You can't fault. I mean, being a football player, I've seen this happen a million times. Guys play through injuries that they shouldn't, and for the sake of wanting to win, and putting the team above their health. And you're not thinking, right? You want to win more than anything. Adrenaline's going through your veins. Like, yeah, man. I mean, yeah. No, I don't fault Worthy. I don't think that was douchey. I don't think that was a wrong stoppage. I agree with both sides.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was super real that because the protest I had no problem with as soon as he saw it replayed and he was like, "Oh shit, yep," and it was just like, "I'm out," and
Even
like,
push it, yeah.
yeah, I was just like,
You don't
"Hell
want to
yeah!"
be
Like,
delusional. Like you don't want to be
right,
O'Malley over there saying that I really
fucking
didn't lose.
dude.
He's
Do we
starting to
want
piss me off with
to
that,
before
dog.
we get to the main event?
He's
Like, are
starting to
we?
piss me off with
Yeah, the
that.
sugar show is not as sweet as it was, huh?
I mean, I like him. I'm rooting for his success,
I mean, yeah, of course,
but
but
that's
it's like
super whack. But I also
it's
don't like how Cheeto Vera is trying to like leverage it either, because you know what? I don't like about what Cheeto's doing.
what's that?
So leading up to the fight, oh, you're nothing, you're nothing, you're nothing. But then, yet if I'm nothing, then why are you using this as like the jumping off point of your career and trying to build fame
Right,
and clout off of it? Like I'm
right, right,
obviously
right.
not nothing. So that's what I don't like, because like after Cheeto went on Food Truck Diaries, and now he's Mr. Popular in social media, essentially becoming what he was cloning Sean O'Malley for. So that proves that he was just hating.
Yeah,
And
he just wanted his clout. He just wanted that clout. Like, that's literally exactly what I'm seeing.
So I don't know, man. It's not that I'm necessarily down on Sugar. I don't necessarily like the whole. Honestly, I really firmly believe he's trolling at this point. Like I really do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I
I
think he's
think
just
he's
fucking with
trolling.
people.
Like he doesn't like I don't know, but yeah, not the biggest fan of it. But I think of things from all angles. I'm not one of these people that just like has like my horse blinders on, and that's how I try to approach life, man. But yeah, man. Fucking people are hating on this main event and saying
Dude, what a
this one
fight.
didn't deserve it, and only because
What a
of
fucking
COVID.
fight.
And
What a fight. Holy shit.
first African American female headliner, and I'm a big Angela Hill fan, regardless of that.
Yeah, I love
Um,
Angela Hill, man. Angela Overhill Kill. Or Overkill Hill. Yeah.
I'll be real. I mainly learned about her from when she went on Rogan. I mean, the thing is,
Yeah,
I had probably
me
watched the
too.
fight before and just didn't put two and two together. But just like when she went on Rogan, hearing her story, um, And actually, her story, because I've been like having like Nina hit the mitts with me and shit, and I'm like, I told Nina
Yeah.
her story, and it's like,
Yeah,
I
trying
don't
to lose
know,
weight, just training Muay Thai, and then
it
finds out like, oh, I like this. I'm good at this.
she won some like Bronx tournament. That's how she
Yeah.
like got her intro. She after a couple of like fitness Muay Thai classes, she went to some like Bronx like underground tournament and like won it for her like weight class, and then like that's how she decided like, oh shit, man, I'm a
Like,
fighter.
I'm kind of good at this.
It's like some movie type shit for
Yeah,
real,
it
but
is for real. And honestly, like she's ranked 13 in the 115 division. Waterson's ranked 8th. Main event for anyone that doesn't or isn't aware: Angela Hill versus Michelle Waterson. Um, this is a great fucking fight, man. Just in total, like the stories of both women, great stories. So, like if you
yeah,
love to
yeah.
get a fighter stories, like you'll support either of these girls.
Yeah, like I like Hill, but I mean it was hard to root against Waterman. Her story is super dope. Her personality super likable. First team all nickname Karate Hottie. Are you serious?
Yeah, like
That's
it's great.
phenomenal.
That's great.
Karate Hottie, love it. So yeah, I mean definitely hard to root for any against any of these ladies, but a strawweight bout at 115, one of my favorite weight classes.
Yeah, and at 115, they honestly bang it out usually. Like they may
And,
not have
and,
knockout power, but they go hard.
and man, I gotta say, like I pretty much agree with most of the people out there, like with how this fight went. Like I'm not gonna have any spicy takes on this one.
All right, well, let's go round by round because I thought this was like a really round by round fight. I didn't think it
It
was a lot of
was
spicy shit. It was just how you scored it.
round by round, which I like when fights are like that because A, they're entertaining, B, they're easy to score.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And,
the scoring is fucking. I don't have to just be in like a tornado in my brain about it.
yeah, and I'm so glad that it was a 5 rounder, man. I'm
Me
so
too. You
glad it was a
needed you
five
needed
rounder.
5 in this fight. You
Because
needed 5 big
after
time.
3, I just remember telling myself, like, fuck yeah, the fact that this isn't over right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
that would have been so anticlimactic.
yeah, because round
And
3
shout
where
out to
you
those
start.
ladies for agreeing, because I think it was going to be a 3-round fight.
Oh,
And
that's
then
right. You're
and
right.
then they had to agree to 2 extra rounds. I'm sure they got
You're
broken out
right.
for a little extra bread, hopefully. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because they headlined the event. Yeah, of course.
yeah. So, but they trained and did a camp for a 3-round fight, and then at the last minute had to agree to 2 extra rounds. So kudos to both ladies.
Shout out both of them because their cardio was never a question. I didn't
Never
think.
in question. Yeah, definitely. Which I think straw weights that tends to help out a little bit. But
Yeah, being a 115-pound girl probably makes you be able to fight a little longer than a 280-pound guy.
but round 1 I gave to Hill. I thought the strike numbers were super close, but I thought Hills had a little more zing on them, a little more pop on
Yeah,
them. I
and
thought they did a little more damage.
I thought Michelle Waterson, a lot of her strikes were like teeps to the body, kicks that were just keeping distance. They weren't really like strikes to do damage.
And we talked about this on the podcast before too, and it's something that's kind of out of every fighter's control and just benefits certain fighters. Waterson did not wear damage well. Like
No, she was swelling instantly.
her face like betrayed her. Like like the swelling, the bleeding, so I think that factored in. I mean, I'm not even saying that it shouldn't factor in. I'm saying I think it did factor in. And then round 2 I thought was closer than round 1, but I gave round 2 to Hill too, which this will come controversial later because one of the judges gave this to Waterson.
Crazy because I said close second round, scored it for Hill. I'm right there with you that it was way closer than the first, but it was still Angela Hill's round just barely.
And the significant strike numbers actually, like
Would back that up.
It was so close. I went to the numbers, which the judges don't have the benefit of doing, but the numbers did benefit Hill in significant strikes in round 1. And in the first 2 rounds, they were standing and banging. So significant strikes are actually a pretty legit way to score that.
Yeah, I would agree.
But round 3. With fucking like momentum changed like the fucking Super Bowl with the Niners and Ravens, like when the lights went out.
Yeah.
Like round 3, Waterson came out just with a different game plan or executed her existing game plan better. I don't know which one it was, but the grappling and the ground and pound for Waterson was just like definitive. I think round 3 was probably the most definitive round out of all the whole fight, and it was for Waterson.
Yeah, I don't think I wrote any notes for the round 3 other than Waterson's in control, round 3 to her.
And she was in control, on the ground. That's what I'm saying. That they weren't standing as much, I feel like, in round 3.
Right.
And it was more grappling. Her ground and pound was effective on Hill. Because Hill, like since she started off in Muay Thai, was her intro to fight. So she definitely likes to keep it on the feet. And I mean, Waterson with the karate background, but she also has been fighting so long that her grappling's gotten much better, probably than Hill's.
Well, and by the end of the fight too, you could tell that both girls were like doing damage to each other because both actually were showing, like even Angela Hill was showing a good amount of damage at the end of the fight, which I was surprised by.
Man, they banged it out, man. They fucking put on a show. I mean, they stood up, they grappled, they fucking were both wearing it. I mean, anything you want out of a main event. That's why I don't know, man. There's a lot of naysayers. I'm gonna ride hard for this. A, because the first black woman headliner. B, I like Angie Overkill, even regardless. And B, I legit thought this was an amazing card. And what up, Coop?
What up, Coop?
And
shout out Medicated Okies.
And man, just a great fight. So yeah, everybody was hating on it. But I swear, that's like, if you want to guarantee that a card's gonna be a banger, just have all the fucking chodes on Twitter just tweet that this card's gonna be garbage and that so and so doesn't deserve to be a headliner, and then it like guarantees that it's gonna be an epic banger. But anyway, we'll keep it pushing. Round 4, Waterson started living up to her nickname, Karate Hottie.
Yeah,
with
actually
those
throwing kicks.
I thought the kicks were what separated it. And
I agree.
after the fight, Angie tried to do a little revisionist history, saying that the kicks weren't hurting. You're like, oh, I knew they were scoring, but they weren't hurting. Like, fuck that, man.
Bitch, they're scoring. I don't care how much they're hurting you.
Well,
like, they're scoring for me at home.
I refuse to believe that, like,
you don't
getting
get front kicked
in
in the
ribs,
face
like,
or in the ribs and you tell me it doesn't hurt. Like,
yeah,
shut
like,
up.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. That's just like when those people that have like their sternum tatted that say, oh, that didn't hurt.
Like, it didn't hurt.
Like, you were either on a lot of drugs or you're full of shit. And so that's how I feel when Angie Overkill says that those kicks didn't hurt, because they sure looked like they fucking hurt, and they were very effective. And it
the way you
at a
acted,
distance.
I was gonna say the way you acted in the middle of the fight sure acted like you were fucking hurt. So
yes, I don't like the whole revisionist history shit, but whatever. But yeah, so I thought round 4 went to Waterson based on those kicks and keeping the distance, which is weird because in round 3 she dominated with the ground and pound. So like I thought it was interesting to kind of switch strategies. I don't know, maybe just going back to her roots or keeping Angie guessing or what. But
I think the strategy flip just kind of fucked up Angela Hill, because I don't think she really knew what facet of the fight Michelle Waterson was trying to go for. So she was like, I don't know what way I need to dictate this goes. Like, she should have just tried to stay true to her own game plan, but I almost think it was one of those like mental things where she got kind of trapped in the like cycle of like, what is Waterson trying to do to me? I need to counter this rather than like I need to do this to her.
Yeah, bro, no, for real. I was just about to say some shit like that. Like, you know, in sports, whether it be basketball, football, I mean, it happens in a lot of sports. I feel like basketball and football are a good example for this, though. Like, whose game plan is going to be implemented? Like, are the Houston Rockets going to make you take out your big?
Right.
Or is your big going to exploit the Houston Rockets' lack of a big? Like, and that's going to tell the story of the game. And, like, and I feel like what you just said is exactly right. Like, the first 2 rounds, where Angela Hill was fighting her game plan. And then after round 3, the tide shifted, and it was like it was officially Waterson's fight. And Hill was kind of on her heels. And but yeah, even mentally more so than physically, I totally agree. There was like a switch flipped in round 3 for sure. And then round 5, which people are saying was controversial. It was a close round.
Who won round 5?
Waterson.
That's what I put. But did you see the strike numbers?
No, I didn't. But
Angela Hill landed 12 more strikes, 44 to 32 in the 5th. 44 to 32.
Yeah. I was just watching it though, and I wasn't even. Like,
I know.
Like watching it. A lot of those weren't landing flush.
Or they were shielded strikes, so they hit on like the shoulders.
And like a lot of Watersons were like kicks to the fucking rib.
Kicks or kicks like literally up on like the neckline, like damaging spots.
Like I don't know. Like that's one where I'm gonna lean on my eye test. And the judges agree with me.
2 of them did.
Yeah, 2 of them did. But I don't know. I think most of Twitter and shit was kind of leaning Waterson too.
I think we're probably in the majority of our scoring. Like, so you would have scored at what, 48-47 for Waterson?
Yep, that's exactly how which one judge agreed with this.
Correct, which is
One
exactly
judge.
how I scored it.
But it was a split decision. We're kind of jumping. It was a split decision for Waterson, and I wrote down the scorecard. So yeah, this blew my mind. One judge scored.
Yeah, how the fuck?
It was so erratic.
Yeah.
We talk about the judging all the time, but so it was 48-47 Hill, 49-46 Waterson, which that's what I'm saying. That judge gave round 2 to Waterson.
Which shocks the fuck out of me.
They had to. I mean, I thought round 2 was close, but I thought I gave it to Hill, and I think both other judges gave round 2 to Hill as well.
Like, that's clearly a judge that values kicks way more. Which, do you have the name of that judge? Like, because I know
didn't
Sal
write the
D'Amato, Derek Cleary, and another, like, very common judge were the 3 judges. Like, when I saw the names of the 3 judges, because I made sure to note it this time, I was like, oh, yeah, these are guys that, like, normally score all the main events. Like, this will be all right.
Yeah, no, I didn't get the name. But
it was
then the last
fucking weird.
The last judge was the judge that we both agreed with, 48-47 Waterson. Because essentially,
right. And that made sense to me.
I thought there were no 10-8 rounds. Nobody got a 10-8 round.
Fuck no.
And then so I gave it 1-2 to Hill, and then 3-5 to Waterson. I thought it was pretty much that straightforward. I don't necessarily understand the wide discrepancy.
I don't have a problem if you give 1-2-5 to Hill. I don't have a problem with that. Like, I think 5 for me is Waterson. For some judges, maybe you lean Hill, and that might be the deciding factor, which is fine. Right. But that 49-46 shit, I have more problem with that.
Yeah,
I think the second one going to Waterson is right.
Even though it's for Waterson, that's
more questionable than the 5th going to Hill, for sure.
Totally. I have zero problem with 48-47 Hill or 48-47 Waterson. Like exactly, I totally agree with that.
But that's the problem with these judges, man. Is like that a guy's going to give 49-46 whenever the entire general public sees it, and it's not a win in the second round for Michelle Waterson.
But I don't know, though, man. We're going a little hard, though. Because
we are.
Because if you think about it.
Hard fight to score, too.
We both agree round 2 was a toss-up. So what this guy is, he just gave both toss-ups to Waterson.
It's kind of fucked up, though, right?
But I'm saying it's more understandable. It's not like horribly blatant.
It's not like he's like setting out to make it be biased.
Because 49-46 sounds horribly lopsided, right? It just it sounds like it is.
Yeah, it sounds like you dominated the fight.
But if you consider 2 50-50 coin tosses and they both happen to land on Waterson, then I mean that's exactly the score you end up with.
Yeah, but what's crazy is those coin tosses go to Hill the opposite way. Both go to Hill, then she wins in split decision.
Hey, bro, do you want to wrap this one up and then come back for a small, brief football talk? Just a little bit of Sunday?
Yeah.
That sounds fun, right?
Yeah, yellow Sunday football talk.
All right, cool. I'm going to end this one. We can come back with just a quick, brief football little talk.
Bet.
All right, cool.
All right, what up, everybody? So, it's the opening Sunday for NFL. And, me and Harrison wanted to talk a little bit of football with y'all. We're excited. That's another passion of ours. I know Beefy Boys Breakdown is, an MMA-based show, and it will continue to be that. But I know a lot of y'all love football. We love football, so let's fucking talk a little football. 1 second.
Damn, I love football, man.
It's fucking football Sunday, man. For real.
Damn.
And
I thought COVID was gonna steal this shit from us. I'll be very honest. Honest.
Yeah, for real. And I'm pretty much gonna leave it at that because I want to talk about football, and I don't want to talk about people's opinions on whether they should be playing football.
No. Fuck, I don't give a fuck about that. Nah.
No. I'm serious. X's and O's. The fucking game, for those that don't know, if y'all want to question how much I love football, and if you want to question how fucking beefy I am, that answers 2 questions.
How yoked.
Answers 2 questions at once, cocksuckers. But yeah, man.
Tell your mothers,
man. But bro, man. So all right. Start off. I want to ask you a few Raiders questions, and then I want to, make an official PSA on regarding the future of my Patriots
Of
fandom.
Tom Brady or okay, yeah, I'm here for that for
Yeah,
sure.
for
I'm here
sure.
that
I got to
for
put
sure.
some things on the record because I know people are going to be coming at me crazy. You know what I'm saying?
All right, what
So,
do you want to ask about the Raiders? What do you want to ask me, man? Yeah, I love Brian Edwards. He's a receiver we drafted in like the late fourth round. We're hiding from everyone. He's gonna be a baller this year.
where do you play college ball?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, Jesus
I
Christ.
think Arizona State. I'm pretty
Coming
sure.
in deep with the depth chart. Well, man, I'm going to start at the way higher up at the depth chart. Are you a Derek Carr guy or not?
Oh man, it's so weird. So like when we first got Gruden 4 years ago now, three what do you want to call it? 4 years ago, I guess.
Has
This would
it
be his
been
fourth
that
season.
long?
This would
That
be his
seems
fourth
like
season, yeah.
yesterday. Oh,
I
my
know.
God.
I know. Yeah, because George's first year in the NFL is his first year with the Raiders, like back with the Raiders.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy, right? But yeah, so Gruden has this crazy master plan that I think is gonna work eventually. And I loved Derek Carr when he first got here, and I hated that master plan. But the more I see it develop, get Derek Carr the fuck out of here.
Really? Okay.
We don't need a quarterback that costs us that much money because it's not really a quarterback system we run, which sounds crazy. I don't know what our system is, man. If I'm being very honest.
Well, right now, to me, the system is Jacobs. And I think
Yeah, it is. But that's weird.
that y'all need to be more like Dallas. If I had Jacobs,
Yeah,
I would try to
we do.
build an offense around like how they did with Zeke, which is weird because they just started letting all the good old linemen go. I think y'all let
I was gonna say Gruden doesn't keep linemen though. That's the thing is like he
Yeah.
doesn't keep the good O line. So I don't know what the fuck he's
'Cause
doing.
I love Jacobs, man. I loved him at Bama. Man, he's fucking good.
I
Josh
loved him when he
Jacobs.
was in Tulsa and we didn't recruit him at OU. Fuck.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is an Oklahoma boy, man.
Yeah, he's
That's
from Tulsa. He went to Booker T or Edison, one of the two.
dope.
And it shocks the fuck out of me that OSU and OU didn't offer him, but Alabama did.
Man, I know so many guys like that, bro. For real.
The
I know
recruiting
so
game is
many
all just
guys
some
like
bullshit,
that.
man. Like I don't know how that works.
It's a
You know what I
big
mean?
fucking dick sucking contest, and like
Yeah.
people are like, that if you got like a soccer mom type of parent, then it benefits you. Now, certain dudes, their talent supersedes that, but man,
Right.
like I don't want to say now because we're getting out of our primes a little bit, but man, back when we were 22 years old, you know how many guys I knew that could run a 4.3 that were just at home on their couches,
Just fucking around doing
just
nothing.
fucking around. Dog,
Yeah.
I always joked when I was because I played football at Oklahoma Baptist. For those that don't know, like I always joked like low key that I could like put together a group of homies that ain't on no roster right now that could like give us
Ball
a
out.
game. Like for
Yeah.
real. I mean, and when we had studs, that's not clowning OBU. That's saying I knew like NFL damn near caliber people that was just like at home.
You're
or in
saying
the
if you
trap.
took D-Rob, if you took D-Rob off the couch at 21, he wasn't gonna ball on some people?
Oh man, I know Rob, man. I love you, Rob. But man,
Or like
not,
Rico. Like
I mean-
Rico would have been cold as hell too.
dude. Honestly, the list is too big in names. I don't want to get into names, but like a ton of talented ass athletes, just so many. A roster's worth. But anyway, what I'm saying is the recruiting game, yeah, is weird. Josh Jacobs, Oklahoma product, somehow managed to escape OU and OSU, and that just goes to show if you are a young athlete out there, don't get discouraged if your favorite school, your in-state school doesn't recruit you. Just
Yeah, you got to
find
make
a
the
way.
best of what you got.
Find a way, make it happen. Take whatever school, and what's crazy to me is these kids be having egos like, oh, I'm too good to go D2, so I just ain't gonna play
Yeah,
football.
like what
I'm
the
just gonna
fuck?
trap it out. Like, dog, shut the fuck up and go play some football. Like,
Yeah, like go.
You
Yeah,
ain't doing shit else. Like I don't know. I played NAIA football. That shit, I ain't, man. Put your ego aside and just let it fucking see what.
but
it
even
gives you.
still, like even if you hadn't played, what would you have done otherwise?
I mean, so I had real good grades and shit. I had other opportunities.
But I'm saying to fill your free time, like hobbies, like what would you have done? You know what I'm saying? Because that was so much of your life.
I probably would have fucked around more. Like I probably would have.
I mean, undoubtedly, right? Because you've just been sitting around at one point.
I fucked around plenty with my limited time. So
And you could have been working a job, making money. Like you'd have more money to spend. Like think about all that, you know?
Oh yeah, man. It's a plethora of opportunities that I don't know. I look back on it though. I don't necessarily I don't regret it, but yeah, man. If you choose to play that football, you know what I mean. I think you should just pursue it. But But yeah, man, we're talking a little more NFL, man. Sorry, I got a little off the rails, but yeah, man. So you're saying get Derek Carr out of there. So you're pretty much down for a rebuild. Are you talking like a
Yeah.
trade for another veteran, or like a rebuild with a rookie? Like,
I don't know where I'm at with it, man. Like, to be honest, like, if I was going to take someone that was like ideal, I would want a quarterback that was trying to move markets that was proven already. But that's fucking impossible to get.
that's
You know
rare.
what I
That's
mean?
few and far between.
You know what I would take right now at this point is someone like a Kirk Cousins that's like 14 million a year, 15 million a year, but is still like a, you know, at least a top
I think
20.
Cousins is getting like 30, dog. You're
What?
tripping. Well, he got 3 for 84 fully guaranteed. He was the first ever fully guaranteed up in Minnesota when he went there.
He did?
Yeah, he was the first ever fully guaranteed contract. Like fully,
What?
it's like a baseball contract. Like the first ever.
Minnesota fucked up if that's the case. Minnesota fucked up.
The market's been reset now. If you look, he's like probably like the 12th highest paid quarterback now.
Yeah,
Like
well, I mean,
the,
Mahomes and Watson are breaking the fucking market.
well, Goff's making
Russell Wilson.
33. Wilson's making 35. Aaron Rodgers making
Jared
37.
Jared Goff might be the most overpaid. Him or Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not no cap. Like it's probably
No,
Jared
not
Goff.
Rodgers. It's 100% Goff.
I don't know, dude. I don't
Rodgers
like
is
Rodgers.
dope. Rodgers is dope.
I think he's starting to fade, bro.
All right. So who is going to be the best defensive player on the Raiders this year?
Oh, that's a good question, actually, because we need someone to step the fuck up and be that player. But I could see it being Crosby.
Crosby's
Mason,
dope. Crosby's
yeah,
dope. The D lineman.
the D lineman, yeah,
Fourth round.
yeah. He was a fourth round pick out of Eastern Illinois. Like, what a
Yeah.
fucking
No,
steal of a pick.
yeah, that was a great pick. That was a great pick. You know, I get like my prediction. That safety y'all drafted last year, but he got hurt. Abrams or
Yeah,
Jonathan
Jonathan
Abrams,
Abraham. Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah. From
whatever
Mississippi
his name.
State. He's
Yeah,
he's a baller too, man. He just
I
got
could
hurt
see.
so early.
I could see
You know
him
what
making some
sucks
plays for y'all.
is like I should be sitting here saying Cleveland Farrell. Like that's the obvious answer, right? Like the guy we drafted fourth overall from Clemson.
I thought that was a questionable pick.
Motherfucker's weak, bro. Like
Not weak, just
not
not like
weak.
top
But if I'm
end.
talking about Crosby before you, and he's drafted in the fourth round from a super small college, and you're from the national champion team that was drafted number 4
He
overall, like
reminds me of that like strong side DN that's more for like run stopping or like maybe like a 5 technique in a 3. He don't remind me
see,
of
I
like an
wouldn't.
edge
Yeah,
rusher.
like no, I would as a 5 tech. I love him. Like I
Yeah.
like him right there over the tackle, like to the inside shoulder, like a 4-eye almost. Like I like him there,
All right.
but at the end, I don't love him.
Any more statements you want to make about Ray? Breakout player?
Brian Edwards, the receiver, has to be.
Okay.
Like the reports I've read coming out of camp were that like the Raiders specifically like didn't report on him in camp, like to reporters because they knew how good he was and were trying to hide him. Now that's all some bullshit,
That
of course,
sounds like
right?
the
Because I
most
read Raiders media.
shit. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like I read Paul Gutierrez daily. But
the
the
way
point
the Raiders
is,
go about shit. Oh my
yeah,
god.
we got to keep it on the down low because film doesn't exist these days.
Oh man. All right. So I want to take a second here.
Now let me ask you because you're in a point of transition. Maybe I don't know. You got a Brady jersey on,
Yes.
but it's Patriots colors.
Yes, exactly the conundrum I found myself in. So everybody that doesn't know, first off, I'm from Oklahoma originally. So Oklahoma obviously doesn't have an NFL team.
Yeah, we get to
So-
pick whatever we want. It's great.
Essentially, you get to pick wherever you want.
It's the best shit on earth. I can name a fan of almost all 32 teams from Oklahoma.
It's like and people just come up with whatever logic they want.
Yep.
Essentially, my
Love it.
uncle, this and that. Man, I went to this city one time, had a great time. Whatever the fuck. And I like the colors. God forbid those people. Fucking
or Cowboys fans, just they're
a lot of
everywhere around
Cowboys
here.
dick
Fucking,
suckers for sure.
ugh.
So I am 26 years old. That made me 6 years old when Brady won his first Super Bowl in 01. I was born in 94. So at that point, it was the Patriots versus the Rams. I was living in Wynnewood, Oklahoma.
Oh,
And-
shout out Wynnewood, GW
Yeah.
Greater Exotic.
Yeah, home
Animal
of Joe
Park.
Exotic. Yeah, the Wynnewood. And and so I was living there, and that's back when the Rams were still in St. Louis. So the entire town It felt like it was probably like 4 jerk offs that somehow was around, but whatever. The entire town, in air quotes, was like rooting for the Rams because they were like the Midwestern team.
Dude, we used to have a shit ton of Rams fans down
Yeah,
here in
it
Oklahoma.
was
A
kind
shit
of
ton.
it was kind of relatively close to the region.
Like, if you
And,
lived in Tulsa, you were probably a Rams fan.
yeah, yeah, and so the whole town was rooting for the Rams. It was the greatest show on turf for the remnants of it, and them Rams teams, late '90s, early 2000s, Isaac Bruce and
Torrey
them boys.
Holt, Isaac
Yeah,
Bruce,
yeah, no,
Marshall
they were
Faulk.
good. Marshall Faulk, fuck yeah, when he
They were
was on
fucking
Madden and
dope
shit.
as
No,
fuck.
they were dope as fuck. And it was Tom Brady's second year in the league. He was a backup.
Yeah.
Bledsoe had gotten hurt.
Drew Bledsoe,
Sixth
baby.
round draft pick. Nobody expected him to do dick. Everybody said the Patriots were fucked. This was going to be a fucking like ass whooping. Goes on. And I think this is the first Super Bowl I ever watched. Like I was 6 years old. It was the first time I was like old
Yeah,
enough
that's,
to be like,
you know what, dude? That's
cognizant.
really weird you say that, because that's true for me, too. You know what Super Bowl before this was Ravens-Giants.
Yeah,
I didn't watch that Super
that
Bowl.
one, no.
And you know what's crazy is, if we had been big football fans, like let's say we were 4 years older,
We
you know why we
could've-
would have loved that? Because Ray Lewis said in the Super Bowl media week, he said, if our offense gives us 3 points, we'll win the game. That's what he said in Super Bowl media week. The Giants scored 3 points that game.
Wow.
So he was not capping. They won 20-3.
Wow. Yeah.
That's where Dilfer gets his fucking ring, is the Ravens defense in 2000.
That's right. Yeah. So, man, yeah, exactly. If I would have watched the Super Bowl 1 year earlier, I could have been a Ravens fan. This would have been a Ravens jersey. But needless to say, I was 6 years old. It was the first Super Bowl I ever watched. And so Tom Brady, the underdog out of nowhere, 6th round pick, wins the Super Bowl. And I'm pretty goddamn sure at that point he was the youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
That might be right.
And so I just fucked with that whole concept hard. And I just, bought in hook, line, and sinker. And I've really fucked with the Patriots since then. Everybody always called me a bandwagon fan, but at the time it wasn't the bandwagon fan. No, they proceeded to win a bunch of Super Bowls.
Right.
And it made me look like a bandwagon fan, but he won me as a fan that very first one in 01 at 6 years old. And I also super fucked with Brett Favre back then. Like I wasn't really like a Packers fan, but I had a Brett Favre jersey.
You did have a Favre jersey, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I always fucked with Favre heavily, still do. But yeah. But what I'm saying is Brady is no longer a Patriot, and I knew this day was coming. I've been bracing myself for it for years. And I didn't know how I was going to handle it. I was like, I'll just see how I feel, see how it plays out. And, even with Cam Newton, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling.
Oh, no. Here we go. He's going to the Bucks.
No, not the Bucks.
He's going to the Raiders. He's coming home.
Niners.
Oh, it's home. That is home for you. I forgot.
Yeah. We got George Kittle.
You know what?
I've been rooting for the Niners for years because of George.
Oh, shout out.
Yep.
Shout out to the fucking signed frame jersey.
Shout out to the homie George. Man, so I've been rooting for him. I've been to like 3 or 4 Niners games.
That's right. You went and hung out with him after the game and shit.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I met CJ Beathard and Garrett Selleck.
CJ's dope. I got to meet him out in Nashville a couple years ago.
Yeah, super nice.
Not last summer, but the one before.
Super nice dudes. Treated me and my wife great. And so I've been to the stadium. It's the only NFL stadium I've ever been to. Only NFL team I've ever been to. A friend of ours plays for the team. I live in the city. I've never lived in an NFL market before. That's
crazy. You do live in the city. One of our friends and high school teammates is legitimately the star of the team.
Yes,
it just makes sense.
It makes sense, man. I've been faking the funk. Like my Patriots, like I'll be real. I stopped. I collect my cards. I stopped buying Patriots cards a minute ago.
Wow.
Coming out of the closet. I'm fucking coming public. I'm gonna take this, bro.
It was never Brady, or it was never Belichick. It was always Brady. This is crazy. This is wild. Just so everyone at home can appreciate this, D-Mac's been a Patriots fan the entirety of the time I've known him as a football fan. So for him right now to relinquish the Patriots and go over the Niners, everyone needs to appreciate this is like a baptism of a new team in
It
football.
is.
D-Mac, like that's a big fucking deal.
It is. If I would have planned this out better, I would have had on a Niners shirt underneath.
Yeah, it'd been like signing day.
Yeah, really like signing day. But I'm feeling good about it. I like the Shanahan era, the Lynch Shanahan era. I listened to Niners talk all day on sports radio. Maybe I've been like indoctrinated. I've been in the Bay Area 4 years now. I just think it's time to make this official. I'm tired of having this wishy-washy answer. I feel
Oh shit, he's on the bandwagon.
49ers faithful.
But yeah, you're faithful.
My
You're one of
mom's
the
a Niners fan. I'm a second
Right,
generation. My mom's. We had a Niners flag in front of our house on Sundays.
I will say, like, for me, my dad's a Raiders fan, my grandfather's a Raiders fan, so like, I'm 3 generations Raiders now. So like that does play a big part in mine as well. Lineage.
I would love to see Tom Brady win a championship this year, and
I wouldn't hate it.
I sincerely hope the NFC Championship is the Buccaneers versus 49ers. It very well may be.
It's a good chance. It's a good fucking chance.
But man, that's where I'm at. I'm not gonna be like a Buccaneers fan. I'm not gonna be one of these, I'm a LeBron fan type of people. That's not how I'm cut. I gotta have a squad.
So you're not going for Tampa Bay. You'll still cheer for TB12, but
I am, but I'm not. I'm not like
But you're for TB12. You're not for Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Gronk, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I hope Gronk goes hard this year.
Yeah,
I hope Gronk goes hard.
Exactly, and but it's like, dog, am I really trying to like root for like Sonny Michel? Like, am I gonna you know what I'm saying? Or like,
he's hard. I have him on my fantasy team. He's hard to fucking root for because he's so inconsistent.
Like, am I trying to Am I trying to? I don't even know. Am I gonna get like a N'Keal Harry jersey?
Sorry, my TV just fucking came to life on me.
Oh, you're good, bro. Like, but man. So, bro, yeah. So it's just like, man, it's official. 49ers faithful. I'm bought in. I mean, I'm still rooting for Brady. He's probably my favorite player ever. I'm still gonna rock my Brady Pats jersey just because I shout out to the GOAT. But man, still gonna take Brady over Montana. You're not gonna catch me getting that brainwashed by these Bay Area people.
Yep, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Brady's the winningest and best ever.
Unpopular take out here in the Bay, but
yeah, true that.
But man, so yeah, I wanted to make that announcement. But that being said, I mean the Niners are gonna be sick this year. I mean, I don't even want to say barring injury because the wide receiver rooms are already devastated. But
yeah, it always has been there the last 4 years.
But they're not one exactly. Their offense is mix and match wide receiver. They do a lot of 2 tight end sets, like a lot of 21 personnel, 22 personnel, fullback and tight ends.
Kendrick Bourne is super underappreciated too.
He's super. He's somebody you see all the time around here. Like I've seen him a few times. Like I saw him at the hookah bar one time. Like you just see him around. He's a guy you see.
Apparently, he's a cool dude. Like according to George.
Yeah, he likes to be out. Well, back pre-corona. I'm not saying
true.
That.
Yeah,
this was all pre-corona.
Yeah, we would never do that to our athletes in Corona.
Yeah, no. So this was all pre-corona. So like but back in the day, you'd see him places if you were out and about. You know what I mean?
Don't call us Jack Harlow. We're not finding Lou Williams in the club.
No.
That shit was hilarious, by the way, bro. Like, hey, Jack Harlow, don't post photos of a guy that should be in the bubble out of the bubble, huh?
Yeah, I bet that didn't make him too many friends, especially being a new guy, in the game.
And at Magic City, like, don't take pictures.
All right, man. Do you think Tua's gonna make any noise in Miami?
God, I hope so. I stole him in the rookie draft we had recently. Like, I got Burrow, and then I stole Tua in the 3rd round just because he was still there somehow, and I was like,
I think that division's wide open. I mean, I'm not saying – a lot of people are saying he's not going to start till like week 8 or week 9 or some shit.
Well, like the Jets suck dicks. Like, that's for sure.
They do.
The Bills are going to –
But they also have
players,
good. Though. Like the Jets are always one of those teams that suck dick, but they have players, and like 4 weeks a year they look great, and you just don't want that to be against you. But
yeah, the Jets will make you mad.
And then the Bills are, I mean, they're on the ups, right? They're on the ups.
Yeah.
A lot of people expect big things of the Bills. I don't necessarily, but people do. And then there's Cam with the Patriots, and then there's the Dolphins, or the
Who?
experiment.
Let's completely flip it, right? So that's AFC East. Who do you think wins the NFC West? NFC West is the most loaded division in football, if you ask me. Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams.
I'm going to say Niners because, man, I really don't think the Seahawks are loaded. I think the Seahawks have a phenomenal quarterback, and I think their roster is, pretty blah. Like, if you really just look at, besides Russell Wilson at this point, like Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas, long gone.
Who's the safety they got? Jamal Adams. They just got Jamal Adams this offseason.
They did. They did. No, that's good. And they still got Bobby Wagner. But I'm just saying.
Damn, D-Mac's not fucking with him like that.
No, I mean, I think they'll be above 8-8. I just
okay.
do they make the playoffs? I don't know. Are they ass? No, but
you're saying the Niners probably 12-4, 13-3. Seahawks maybe 10-6, 11-5.
No, I think lower maybe. I think.
Wow,
you know what?
7.
Well, you know why? Because I'm high on Cardinals.
Oh yeah, I think the Cardinals are going to go at least 8-8, at least.
Well, so by your logic, does that mean the Rams are winning 2 games this year? Because they're all in the same division.
The Rams fucking suck.
Do you think
the Rams fucking suck? They don't, but they do. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's also about the Seahawks.
I think me and you are in the same place, but with different teams in the NFC West. I think the Rams is the punching bag. It sounds like you think maybe the Seahawks are more so.
Because the Seahawks don't got that pass rusher no more.
They did lose Clowney and Clark, and they do keep getting rid of everybody.
I mean, the Rams got Donald. That's a game record just in and of itself.
Aaron Donald is a damn near a whole D-line.
They got Jalen Ramsey.
No. Oh, yeah, they did sign him to that crazy deal. That's right. That's right. They paid him way too much.
They did, but fuck, he's on the
But the Rams have done that for every player they have. They pay him way too much. Eventually, you're going to see the Rams be dog shit.
But they got rid of that Gurley contract.
Yeah, but do you see Gurley's stats today? 10 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown in one half?
No, I didn't. But I'm saying they got rid of that contract. So
true. It was bad for them. The contract was bad, but Gurley, I think, is going to have a great year, man. Atlanta's one of 3 teams this year that returned all 5 offensive line starters.
Well,
the
this
Steelers,
as
Atlanta,
and
someone else.
Go ahead and run an 8-man box against Julio and see what the fuck happens.
Yeah, see what the fuck. And not to mention who else is on the other side of Julio now? Calvin Ridley.
Stud.
And Austin Hooper. Oh, no, he signed with the Browns.
No, he with the Browns, which is
fuck.
Yeah, no, so man, I feel like the talent dispersal in the NFL, it's not top heavy right now. Now that really Brady's out of New England. And the Rams didn't develop into the juggernaut that people thought they were going to.
I mean, other than the Chiefs, that's about the only top-heavy talent team you have. Yeah, I don't know how the Chiefs are. I don't know how they afford the players that they've afforded so far.
Well, most of them are young. Most of them are young.
I know, but the contracts that they've signed, recently, Mahomes' contract, massive. Shannon Clark or Frank. Frank Clark.
DJ Jones.
Yeah, DJ Jones. They're signing, they have 4 of the top paid positions in the NFL right now.
Everybody else is rookies. McCall Hardman's on a rookie deal.
That's a good point. Tyreek Hill is still on his
running back.
Rookie deal,
Edward Hilaire rookie deal.
Great point.
I think I think their right tackle's a rookie. Yeah, so I mean that's how.
That's a great point. But the Chiefs
name one of their linebackers. I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? They're not spending money there.
Yeah, it's a good point. They had Hitchens last year, but what's weird for the Chiefs though is that they have Honey Badger, don't they?
They do. But you
know what's weird? You know what's weird for them is that their offense is just so good. They're going to outscore you off the rip. So defensively, they don't have to spend as much. But they're going to be so bad in 5 years, man, when all these contracts get caught up and they can't re-sign the rookies that they have right now.
I think in 5 years they sign a new TV deal or some shit. It's and
the cap goes up.
Yeah, bro, they know what they're doing, man. I'm not worried.
They're on some financial advisor type shit.
I used to work. The thing about the football cap is it's all fake money anyway.
Yeah, so it's so weird, dude.
Baseball has no cap, but it's from
it's real money.
Oddly enough, the basketball is the sport where the salary cap comes into play, even though they don't have a firm cap. Their tax structure is so intense.
Well, it's great. That's the best way to do it. Is if you want to pay this much and you want to be that guy that just says, I'll buy a championship, we're going to tax you a lot. It's going to charge you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, like 200% of your payroll or some shit
Right,
like that.
which
Yeah.
I'm about, man. Like if you're ultra rich and you're down to sacrifice and pay that amount of money, cool. You
And
deserve it.
because those contracts are guaranteed too. So yeah, because that's the whole reason they don't want to give NFL players guaranteed contracts is because of the
Which
salary
is
cap.
bullshit. That's the episode we should have Thursday is what a guaranteed contract is, means, and what it would mean moving forward with the PA.
Dude, that's something I'll cross that bridge when they get to it, dog, because they got to work that out, man.
Yeah, the
But
NFL Players Association has to do a lot better, man. Like
but
DeMaurice Smith and those guys got to do better.
but yeah, man. Like what I was saying earlier, I think the Cardinals have potential to be better than the Seahawks.
Yeah. I think the Cardinals and Seahawks are battling for second and third in that division,
So
if you're asking me.
do you think it's Tampa Bay and 49ers coming out of the NFC for you? Look, let's get a Final Four here.
No. No. I don't know if the Buccaneers get past the Saints in the South.
See, I do.
Because
I
the
like
Buccaneers
them. I'm buying the hype. Call me
I'm
hype
just
dudes.
but just think about it this way: the Saints didn't fuck with their roster hardly at all. So if they even win one out of those two, just based on the fact that they play together, like team chemistry wise, and they win the division, well, that means the Buccaneers can only finish fifth or sixth as far as wild cards. So they got to go on the road to either the Saints or the Niners.
I don't think that's the scenario, homie.
Okay, well, in reverse, then.
Joe Brady's about to take that division by the nutsack.
Okay, but in reverse, like let's say Tampa Bay wins the division. That means the Saints get in as the 5 or 6 seed. So they're probably going to end up playing Tampa Bay again. And I don't know that Tampa Bay beats them 3 times in a year.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
It's interesting, right? It's interesting.
Yeah.
There's 3 legit NFC teams. Who do you have in the AFC?
Saints? Are you going Saints as your? Are you going Saints and
Going
Niners?
Saints Niners to rematch, yeah.
Saints
Niners? No. I'm going to fuck the whole game up, and I'm going to say it's Saints Buccaneers.
Saints Buccaneers in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's too hard to get back to the Super Bowl like that for the Niners.
Okay. And then what about AFC Chiefs? Are you going chalk Chiefs and Ravens? Or are you gonna come in spicy again?
I want to do that, dude, but the Ravens. It's fucking huge. Like the Titans are going to be serious.
Oh yeah, the Titans. So you think the Titans? You think the Titans and the Chiefs?
That's what I think.
Okay, spicy man coming in real
a little spice here for you today. This is week 1. By week 9, we might be somewhere else.
Ah man, I think I'm gonna be boring, bro. I think I'm going chalk.
Wow, Ravens, Chiefs, and Niners, Bucks, huh?
I guess Bucks isn't chalk. Bucks is my spice.
Yeah,
that's
true. That's true. Because chalk would be Saints, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going. But I don't got faith in Tannehill. I don't. I know that I do like them. Like they'll make the playoffs. They'll win that division. But I'm not. No way. I'm not. I'm not going balls deep on Tannehill. And I don't know, man. I'm honestly hesitant to go balls deep with Lamar.
Me too.
Like I really kind of am. I feel like there's a lot of film out there on him. We've seen kind of drop-offs around this time. We've seen this kind of story before. But their weapons, like Hollywood, like their weapons, they're running stable of running backs. They got J.K. Dobbins. They got a dope O-line. They got a dope coach. They got a dope defense. Like it's almost not even as much about Lamar as like the media tries to make it out to be. Like
you're
really
right.
like their roster. Like I really like their roster. Like I guess like the Ravens is a chalk kind of boring pick, but the reason why I'm making that pick isn't for like the Lamar hype that everybody else is. It's really like the roster and just the stability of the franchise.
Construction.
Yeah. Like I don't know, man. I really, really want to like the Browns. Like I think I might spice it up and say that the Browns get the wild card over the Steelers. I think because a lot of people are high on the Steelers this year with Big Ben back. I think Big Ben's washed. I think he's been washed for like 4 years.
Me too.
Like I don't have no clue why people are still just dick riding Big Ben. There's no Antonio Brown. There's no Le'Veon Bell. Like this Steelers team that everybody keeps picking is like a memory. Like they're picking like their memory. Like
and Juju Smith-Schuster isn't about to do all that for him like that.
Troy Polamalu's not walking through those doors. Like Mean Joe Green's not walking through those doors. Like Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There's people have this nostalgia. I'm not feeling Pittsburgh. And, I fuck with our boy Baker. So it's like, I don't know. I think the Browns will figure it out this year. Not figure it out Super Bowl, but figure it out playoffs, wild card. I
Yeah.
think I think that I mean, some people might call that spicy. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I'm with it. Yo, I gotta change and get off to work, but I'm down if you want to come back to this next Sunday after our next breakdown, maybe just assess our statements about conference championships after week 1. I'd be about it.
For sure, man. Yeah, enjoy your day, brother. Appreciate your time, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. I'll see you next week.